Just a card guy or
I'll tell you what was tough for me was all the ice cream and candy that was available. I had a really tough time, and every once in a while, I would think, I'm not going to have an ice cream sandwich, and then when you have one, you have two.
Hop on the treadmill.
Oh, and then you sit back on the bullpen, you've got indigestion. You're like, why did I eat that ice cream sandwich?
Well, the good news is that there has been some relief for Lou with that bullpen. The last two starters, Jason Marquis and Ryan Dempster, have each gone into the seventh inning. I know Lou would love for Carlos Zambrano to do the same here, but it all depends on Mother Nature right here. Again, Carlos Zambrano against Matt Chico. I guess we'll find out a little bit more about
Chico and the man.
Chico and the man going at tonight. Another southpaw for the Cubs. The lineup remains the same as we mentioned earlier. No tarp down the field. Looks like we're getting set for baseball. Let's hope the skies and Mother Nature cooperate. Again, we'll be back for Lowe's Postgame Live immediately following Cubs and Nats. Stay tuned for baseball with Len and Bob from D.C.
One thing you look for from your ace is the ability to stop a losing streak. From our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., we're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the middle game of this weekend series, the Cubs and the Nationals, with the home team winning 5-3 in walk-off fashion last night. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The Cubs have dropped 2 in a row, so they're 1-2 on this road trip. And Bob, we're going to take a look at some of the numbers with the Cubs pitching staff and the relievers and the starters. Very similar. The one thing you'd like to do is maybe see those innings go down a little bit for the bullpen.
Absolutely, and that's a byproduct of the starters working deeper in the ball game, obviously. And Lou is hoping that Carlos can get this ball club deeper into the ball game tonight. The one big difference is you give up hits, you give up home runs late in the ball game. You don't have a lot of time offensively to regroup.
We might be dodging the rain tonight, so both managers want their starters to be able to go as deep as possible. The Cubs will have their ace on the mound.
Well, you know, you have a closer in the bullpen and you have a stopper in your rotation, and Carlos Zambrano is the stopper of losing streaks in the Cubs rotation. You see what he did in the Mets, against the Mets rather, in his last time out.
And he's pitched very well in the month of April. That's a big change for him the last few years. He just hopes to keep it rolling. Left-hander Matt Chico's trying to change his luck, however.
Yeah, he's changed his mechanics a little bit, trying to find a little more velocity on his fastball. Last time out, it topped out around 89, which is an improvement where it was earlier this season.
The Cubs go into this one tonight, 1 game up on the St. Louis Cardinals in the Central. It'll be Carlos Zambrano, 5-2 against the Nationals, to take the ball for the Cubs coming up.
Having a fuel-efficient car is a great thing. Having a choice of fuel-efficient cars is even better. At Chevy, we offer several models that have outstanding fuel efficiency, from Aveo to Cobalt to the all-new Malibu. Because when it comes to fuel efficiency, the choice is clear.
Qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on this 08 Impala for around $199 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. Find your Chevy today at ChevyDealer.com.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
Pull it, park it, haul it. Right. Enjoy year-round family vacations with an RV from J&J Camper. Traveling will never be the same. J&J Camper, a family-owned business for over 40 years on Route 5 East Moline. Dream it, own it,
live it.
Our selection, your choice. See for yourself at www.jjcamper.com.
Good evening again, everyone. Chris Bowden in our downtown Chicago studios. We'll get you back to Washington in a bit, but first, this update. This afternoon, the Sox are playing 2 against the Orioles on the south side. The opener, John Danks perfect through 5, but in the top of the 6th, Adam Jones leading off, lines the ball to center. That breaks things up. The perfect bid now over, and the next batter is Guillermo Quiros, taking a page from Will Nieves of the Nats last night. He takes Danks to deep left, a 2-run homer, the first of his career. 2-0 O's. Danks went 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs and 4 hits. Bottom of the 7th, fellow lefty Brian Burris cruising, and he gets Carlos Quentin to ground out to third, and a 9-pitch inning in that 7th. Orioles still in control, and then the top of the 9th, 2 on for Brian Roberts. He hits one to center field. Alexi Ramirez on his horse, but can't quite get there in time. The 2-run double gives the Orioles a 5-0 lead, and they go on to take the opener 5-1. Game 2 just getting underway. NFL draft today. The Bears used their first-round pick to bolster their depleted offensive line. They selected tackle Chris Williams from Vanderbilt, 6'6", 315 pounds. He started all 24 games for the Commodores over the past 2 seasons. Their second-round selection is coming up, but this should help the Bears on the offensive line. No surprise at the top of the draft, the Dolphins took Michigan offensive lineman Jake Long. The Rams went long as well. Virginia defensive end Chris Long, he's the son of Howie, the NFL Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan, the first quarterback taken, selected 3rd by Atlanta. Darren McFadden went 4th to Oakland, and Illinois' Rashard Mendenhall lasted all the way to the 23rd pick. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to stick around after the game. Dan Plesac joining me for Cubs Postgame Live, but after the break, we'll get you back out to D.C. for the start of the Cubs and Nationals. Enjoy the game in HD here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Life is high school with money. What are the cool kids wearing? Where are the cool kids living? What are the cool kids driving? And if you were never really into all that, there's only one thing to do. Graduate.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer.
Here at this modern-day watering hole, this urban Serengeti, it's man meets reptile.
So, Lucy, what are you doing?
Just a little online shopping.
You should check out Geico.com, get a free rate quote. If you like what you see, you can buy it online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Cool.
Remarkable. Oh, no. Help! Did you hear something?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Save big money during the door sale at Menards. Right now, all Larson storm doors are on sale. From traditional to elegant, Menards has every style you need. Adding a Larson storm door provides year-round energy savings. A self-storing model is $84.95. A MagnaSeal mid-view featuring a retractable screen and magnetic weather stripping, $188. The Easy Vent with screen away is $244. Plus, there are 0 payments and no interest till 2009 with your big card.
Save big money at Menards.
Sports Night with Pat Boyle and Mark Shanowski. Every weeknight at 6:30 and 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
The best highlights in Chicago.
That ball hit deep. You can put it on the board. Yes! Deep to left field for Ramirez, and it will go!
The most in-depth interview. We like the way we're playing, and hopefully things just keep getting better.
Pat Boyle and Mark Shanowski have you covered.
You don't want to miss Sports Night.
Make your plans to join us nightly on Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Chevy. Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Midas, for brakes, oil changes, tires, and more. Trust the Midas touch. Your Chicago area Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we want to give you the security to experience wellness everywhere. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cadillac, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit Southwest.com today.
A very pleasant evening at this point. We have heard about a threat of rain. They had the tarp ready about 20 minutes ago, but they have put it away for the time being, and we will get this thing started on time. Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. The Nationals winning on a 2-run homer by Will Nieves in the 9th inning last night. Now let's check in on the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Reed Johnson with a catch for the ages in the ball game last night. He'll lead it off. Terrio, Lee, Ramirez 2 through 4. Kosuke Fukudome hits 5th. Mark DeRosa's out in left. Giovanni Soto had a rough night at the plate last night. Struck out 3 times. He did walk intentionally his last time up. Cedeno hitting 8th and Carlos Zambrano's 9th.
Well, you mentioned that catch by Reed Johnson last night. People are talking about it all over baseball. One of the finest catches you will ever see. Maybe the best catch I've ever seen, all things considered. There's no regard for his own safety whatsoever, going head first into the barrier out there in left center field, able to hang on. And you see some of the quotes from his teammates and from Reed Johnson himself. And you hang around this game for a long time and you see a lot of great defensive plays, but I don't know if I've ever seen one better than that.
Physically, he's fine. You might be able to see on his right forearm some redness. He was scraped up just a little bit, but that was it.
He's showing his battle scars to Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire.
I said, have you ever made a better catch? He said, well, you know, I've never stolen away a home run. So he couldn't really think of a better catch where he laid out completely. You see the numbers for left-hander Matt Chico. He's looking for his first win.
Yeah, Chico features a fastball, as we mentioned in the open of the show, that'll sit in the high 80s. He has a slider and a straight changeup as well.
So it is Reed Johnson, who was 1 for 4, hit by a pitch and scored 2 runs. And the one thing he talked about as he takes a strike was the missed opportunity in the 8th inning. He made the final out of that inning with the bases loaded. So while a lot of people wanted to ask him about the catch, he was thinking more about what could have been offensively, as the Cubs had tied it in that inning but could not take the lead. Wind really howling, but we're way away from the field. I'm not sure how much it's going to affect the players on the field. He did not go around. Ed Montague, the crew chief, made the call.
And as you mentioned last night, Len, the field itself is actually below street level, so I'm not sure how much wind actually gets down on the field and affects balls that are put into play.
Now the 1-2 pitch into center field. That's a base hit. It will actually be gathered in there by Kearns in right center. A leadoff single for Johnson.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Nationals defensively. Brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. Willie Mo Pena, Lastings, Millage, and Austin Kearns across the outfield. Zimmerman and Guzman on the left side. Lopez and Johnson on the right side of the infield. Veteran Johnny Estrada doing the catching tonight for left-hander Matt Chico. Chico hooked up against the Cubs on the 4th of July last year, pitched 7 strong innings, gave up only 4 hits of shutout baseball.
Strike 1 on Ryan Terrio. Coming in at 329, is on base just a little bit below 400. Chico was born in Fullerton, California. He pitched at USC and Palomar Community College in California as he checks on Johnson. And he was pitching in a semi-pro league in San Diego before being drafted by the Diamondbacks in 2003. He was a 3rd-round pick.
Boy, and he has drawn the short straw in the early going this year. This is his 6th start. 5 times he's hooked up against an opening day starter. Matched up twice with Tim Hudson from Atlanta, Adam Wainwright from St. Louis, Brett Myers from Philadelphia, and tonight Carlos Zambrano from the Cubs, all opening day starters.
He's 24. He'll turn 25 in June. And that's smacked into right, base hit. First two are on. This looks like the Cubs offense from last weekend.
He just needed to catch a breath last night. Picking up right where they left off on that last homestand. Ryan Theriot with an inside out swing finds that hole on the right side. A couple guys on for the middle of the order.
Derek Lee, who is 0 for 3 versus Chico. And is 1 for 4 with a double and a walk in the series. The Nationals want to turn a double play. Jim Wolf works the plate. We mentioned Ed Montague, the crew chief at first, Jerry Lane at second, and Phil Cuzzy is at third. 2-0. Jim is the brother of big league left-hander Randy Wolf, who's now with the Padres. Ground ball through the hole on the left side. Johnson will be sent and will score without a throw. After 3 batters, still no outs, and the Cubs lead 1-0. RBI number 19 for Derek.
Well, and as soon as I saw that ball get through the left side, I was watching Mike Quade in that third base coach's box. We were talking to him yesterday before the game, and he mentioned how thick the outfield grass is here at the new ballpark, and no hesitation whatsoever. Reed Johnson watches the ball through the left side, gets sent home by Mike Quade. Once again, that's a byproduct of doing your homework before a series. Coming out for early batting practice, they saw how the ball reacted on the infield grass and the outfield grass, and Mike Quade told us yesterday they were going to be aggressive on grounders into the outfield.
And with a weather situation, you don't change your game, but it's not a bad idea to pile up some early runs just in case this thing is shortened by a few innings. This is not the kind of night where you want to wait until the 7th or 8th to get all your runs. You might not even have that opportunity. Time called at the plate. Three straight singles to start the game. The kick and the 1-0 pitch. It's a strike on a fastball at 89. Chico had a big leg kick back in high school, but after he signed with Arizona, the Diamondbacks basically took it away to help him in the running game. And in spring training, the Nationals saw some video, and Randy St. Clair said, "I like what you did back in high school better." His fastball's been a little hotter. Now he hasn't had numbers to support the fact that he's supposedly better with the leg kick. They're going to stick with it.
Yeah, very fine line. I mean, you want a pitcher to get the most he can out of his delivery as far as the velocity on his fastball, but by the same token, you don't want it to turn into a track meet on the bases.
Another foul, still 1-2.
And I don't think we'll see Ryan Theriot attempting to steal third base anytime soon with one of the guys in the middle of the lineup up at the plate. He got gunned down at third base last night with 1 out in the 3rd inning and Derek Lee at the plate. And it really wasn't very close.
Ryan just 5 for 10 now on stolen bases. And on the hands and fouled off.
I thought that was coming up here.
Not quite.
I don't think so.
I'm feeling just a couple of raindrops. Or 10 or 12. I think it's coming.
We're almost above the clouds. The rain is below us right now.
Another 1-2 pitch and a fly ball. pop-up actually right behind second, and it's caught. Infield fly rule was called as Guzman made the catch.
Kosuke Fukudome last night had some problems early in the game with Odalis Perez, the left-hander for the Nationals that started that ball game. He had a couple of lazy fly balls to left field his first 2 at-bats. But then he squared one up, hit a double down into that left field corner that bounced up over the fence for a ground rule double. Singled in his last at bat in the 8th inning.
Happy birthday to Kosuke. He's 31. We made him a cake graphically.
He's got a lot of good baseball left. That's a young 31 right there.
Chico fakes towards second.
Well, if you do have a big leg kick in your delivery to home plate, that's one thing you can do to try to slow down or at least neutralize the base runners. That inside move to second base to make sure Ryan Theriot doesn't break on first move.
Outside corner for a strike. The RBI coming from Derek Lee on a single to left, scoring Reed Johnson. Chico really taking his time with men on base. Good rip by Kosuke, fouled it back 1-2.
Yeah, he was trying to do some damage right there. That's one of the more balanced power swings we've seen from Kosuke. Usually he's much more under control, willing to go to the opposite field. He really let the bat fly on that last swing.
The next pitch, ball 2, 2-2. Cubs have dropped their last 2. Final game in Colorado and then the opener last night. They lost back-to-back games for only the 3rd time this season. He's run it full, 3-2. DeRosa's on deck.
Have to believe the runners are going to be in motion here based on what we've seen from Kosuke Fukudome in the early going this season. We know he's got a great eye for the strike zone, rarely swings at bad pitches. Pretty safe bet that Lou's going to start the runners here.
They are running, and they'll have to head back.
A lot of times against a left-handed pitcher, a manager will hesitate to start the runners with a left-handed hitter at the plate. But Fukudome has shown that he doesn't give in to left-handed pitching. This is a pretty sure thing for Lou.
Another fake towards second just to keep Theriot honest.
Not so sure Matt Chico isn't waiting on the rain to show up here. Gotten off to a shaky start here in this ball game. Looking at a 1-0 deficit already.
They run again. There's ball 4. The bases are full. I don't know how many times the bases have been loaded for the Cubs over the last 10 days or so, but it's been a lot. They have put a lot of pressure on the opposing pitcher, and Randy St. Clair is going to make a mound visit.
And he's in no rush to get out there either. I tell you, your attitude about the ball game changes depending on where you're at. If you have a lead in the game, you try to play a little quicker. You try to keep the game moving in case the rain does come. If you're behind in a ball game, maybe you take a little more time in everything you go about doing out there, hoping that the rains do come. Well, that's a dangerous trap to fall into. Just go out and play baseball. Don't worry about the weather. Let the umpires worry about that after the game starts. You just do what you have to do to win a game.
From our vantage point, it doesn't look that bad. We felt a few droplets of rain, with the wind really blowing into the booth. We might be okay for the time being, but the wind has really kicked up.
Yeah, from our vantage point, it's sunny over Phoenix. We can see that from here.
The pitch to Mark DeRosa, misses, ball one. Cubs had a bases loaded walk last night from Matt Merton to tie the ball game in the 8th.
Good numbers for D-Row with the bases loaded.
The next pitch, ground ball, base hit past Zimmerman. Terrio scores. Derek Lee right behind him. It's cut off by Zimmerman. A 2-run single for DeRosa. Snaps an 0 for 8. That's his first hit on the trip.
Take care of your business. Do what you have to do. Mark DeRosa finds that hole on the left side of the infield, just like Derek Lee did. And once again, Mike Quaddy with no hesitation whatsoever. You can see Derek Lee going by at the bottom of your picture. Pena would have had a shot at him at home plate, but that ball really slows down in that outfield grass.
4 hits in the inning, all singles. They have kept the line moving. 0-1 on Giovanni Soto, who did not put a ball in play last night. He struck out 3 times and was walked intentionally. Big swing and a miss. 0-2.
Back-to-back breaking balls from Chico, called for from Johnny Estrada behind the plate. If your young pitcher's getting whacked around with his fastball in the early going, you've got to find a plan B. Another breaking ball just off the inside corner.
Strike 3, 2 outs, and the 8th batter of the inning, Ronnie Cedeno, will get a chance. So Soto has now struck out 4 times in the series. Fukudome is at second. DeRosa's the runner at first. Carlos Zambrano will jump into the on-deck circle before he even pitches.
That's always a good thing. Every starting pitcher's goal should be to go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6.
And to bat before he takes the ball. When you're on the road, you have that opportunity. Guzman to Lopez, and DeRosa's forced, and the inning is over, but the Cubs get 3 to start it. And Big Z will take the mound when we come back to DC.
Hey, Nick, check this out. This business select thing is great. I get to be one of the first aboard, and I get extra rapid rewards credit and a free drink.
Shh, keep it down.
What? No, I want to shout this from the rooftops. I got business select.
Hey, what? I know it's great, man, but if everybody knows about it, then everyone's gonna do it.
Southwest Airlines' new Business Select. You're guaranteed to be one of the first aboard. You get extra rapid rewards credit, a free drink, and it's fully refundable.
You're now free to be more productive.
The road to happiness. Something's brewing here.
Medioso, non-fat, $7.75.
$8?
Hello, there's a drought in the Moroccan rainforest.
Moroccan rainforest?
That's right.
Put your money in an Orange savings account. Watching your money grow, that's a habit that leads to happiness.
Thanks. No thanks.
High interest, no fees, no minimums. That's the boost your savings need on the road to happiness.
Home improvement made easy and affordable. Menards. Accent gable ends or round entryways with the classic look of Victorian-style half-rounds in 4 colors, just $2.99 a piece. Or accent your home with shingle-look accent siding in 4 colors that never need painting. On sale, $7.99 a piece. Decorative plastic rocks from Emsco come in 3 sizes and are great for covering pipes, sprinkler valves, or just enhancing the look of your landscaping. In 3 sizes, starting at $16.99.
Save big money at Menards.
Now let's get Manny Acta's Nationals lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Felipe Lopez will start it. He thought he had Probably a triple before Reed Johnson made that great catch last night. Guzman at 314, Zimmerman, Johnson, Millage. Austin Kearns back in the lineup. He had a big hit late in the 9th inning coming off the bench. Estrada, Pena, and Chico will round it out.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. DeRosa, Johnson, Fukudome across the outfield. Ramirez and Terrio on the left side tonight. Cedeno and Lee on the right side. Giovanni Soto doing the catching for Big Z, Carlos Zambrano.
Popped a strike on his first pitch. Excellent numbers. You love the strikeouts to walks ratio. It's 5.4, and that's 4th in the National League behind Johan Santana, Johnny Cueto, and Ben Sheets.
He's allowed 2 or fewer walks in every start this season.
Speaking of Ben Sheets, he threw a bullpen session earlier today. He skipped his last start with triceps tightness, and if he feels okay tomorrow, he will make his next start, which will be Tuesday night at Wrigley Field. Cubs began the day with a 1.5-game lead in the Central. It's down to 1 as the Cardinals beat Houston 4-3. In the dirt, 3-2.
Let's see if Carlos has a similar approach tonight that he had against the Mets his last time out. He was pitching consistently in the high 80s, low 90s, with command of everything. Occasionally when he needed it, he could reach back and pop it up there at 95.
Derek Lee will take it unassisted for out number 1.
The new and improved Carlos that pitches instead of throws. We like the new Carlos.
He's been really good.
Pretty routine play for D. Lee. A little troublesome for Felipe Lopez. Those are 2 big guys in blue shirts there at first base. Quick word of encouragement from his catcher, and Gio will get back behind the dish and go to work on Christian Guzman.
Guzman, like Lopez, is a switch hitter. And the first pitch to him catches the zone. Skip Schumacher with a game-ending RBI single, scoring Cesar Torres in the 9th for the Cardinals win. That's a gapper for Guzman. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Reed Johnson will pick it up, but not before Guzman has his 7th double of the year. He's been really good the last couple of years when he's been healthy. It's just been keeping him on the field that's been the issue for the Nationals.
They're off to a hot start this season. Splits that gap in left center field on a sinker in the heart of the plate. I'll tell you, after Reed Johnson made that catch last night, I think he should catch everything. And that's just such an amazing play. I thought he had no chance to get to Lopez's ball last night. Certainly no chance to get to that one from Guzman, but you never know. That covers a lot of ground.
Fastball out of the zone against Zimmerman, who's 1 out of 7. Against Zambrano. If you just joined us, the Cubs got 3 in the top of the first inning. They lost last night 5-3. Foul tip strike. They came in at 15-8. The Nationals, meanwhile, are 8-16. They have, however, won 3 of their last 4. Slide step and fouled off. That can be a very effective pitch. He went off speed on the quick pitch slide step.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. The hitter's natural reaction when he sees that slide step is to try to speed everything up as he sees the pitcher speed up. And then you throw a change up and get him way out in front.
And he threw it into center field, and Guzman On his way to third, the throw there, almost got him. Reed Johnson fired a strike to Ramirez, but it was a little bit late. So that'll be a throwing error on Zambrano. The Cubs defensively, other than the Johnson catch last night, they've been a little shaky in this series.
Now Ronnie got a little tangled up with Christian Guzman there at the end of that play. Look at that throw from Reed Johnson right on the bag. Ronnie could have tried to hold him down a little bit longer. Not entirely legal, but you can get away with it if you're going for the throw. Well, velocity-wise, that's probably the fastest throw Carlos has had in this game. He spun around to second base and fired a rocket back there.
And now the Cubs will surrender a run if they can get an out. The only guy who might be able to come home is Ramirez, who's not back quite all the way. Called strike 3, and now Z can get out of it if he can get Johnson.
Ryan Zimmerman, a guy that the Nationals are expecting to be a big run producer in the middle of that lineup. He's done it throughout his career, but takes a sinking fastball right at the bottom of the kneecap for a called strike 3.
Really chomping hard on that gum tonight. And Johnson gets hit by a pitch. That'll leave a mark.
Oh, man. Got him in the fleshy part of the right thigh, it appeared. Tries to cut a fastball in there, gets it a little bit too far in there. That's going to leave a mark. Ooh.
Now, when you get hit like that, Bob, how long does that linger? How long will Nick Johnson feel that one?
Well, it'll last for a while. I mean, the trainers nowadays do such a great job for every ball club, getting treatments and icing the guy down and different kinds of modalities that they have to get the blood out of there. That will certainly, he's going to have a lot of it. That's a bad bruise right there. Fortunately, it's all muscle. The thing you get concerned about is it's right above the knee. And if you don't keep the swelling down, a lot of that is going to end up in the knee joint, and that's when you worry about missing time. But he'll feel that probably for the better part of a week or 10 days. Real sore tomorrow morning, and then gradually diminishing.
I don't know how Nick Johnson felt when he got to the ballpark, but let's just say he was feeling great.
Better than he is right now.
And in about a 2-second sequence, his right leg hurts, and it's probably going to bother him for a while.
You know, and the odd thing is it's not just the bruise itself. You start favoring it. You know, you got a little pain when you run on that right leg, so you put a little more pressure on your left leg, and that's the way injuries start. It just works from one body part to the other.
A reminder, this high-definition road telecast is being brought to you by Sharp Aquas. A lot of Cub fans here in the Washington, D.C. area. We rode the Metro with a lot of them after the ball game on Friday night.
I think all of them.
Yeah, the train was packed with Cubs fans. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3. And the Nationals cannot get a run. They lead 2 after 1. It's 3-0 Cubs.
So what's new?
Oh, I just got high-speed internet from AT&T. It's really fast.
Yeah? What's that like?
Kind of like that.
Experience the fastest internet for the price. Plus, get $50 cash back.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra, and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
I am your idea. I gotta fly. I gotta move. I'm out of the box and in the network. In the zone and on your mind. Don't stop me now. Give me Rico. Rico's always ready to move me. Send me. Here, there, everywhere. This is how we go. Let's go. Rico.
Want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line for the May 9th through 18th games. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row seats auction today. Matt Chico's trying to settle in after giving up 4 hits and 3 runs in the first inning.
Mike Quade grabbed Reed Johnson and Mark DeRosa right as they were coming off the field. I'm not sure exactly what the content of that conversation was, but I remember Mike Quade told us yesterday about the thick outfield grass, maybe telling the guys they're playing a little bit too deep. Constant adjustments, not only at the plate and on the mound, but everywhere on the field.
Second strikeout for Chico. And it's Reed Johnson. He started the game with a single and would come around and score on the Derek Lee RBI hit. And time for our Coors Light cold blast to the booth. Joel Prybeck from Glenview, Illinois, was checking out Wikipedia and noted that Reed Johnson was a gymnast and wondered about maybe the catch, if his training as a gymnast had anything to do with it. And that's absolutely true. That's a good email, Joel. I had a nice chat with Reed about it. He participated in gymnastics for about 9 or 10 years when he was a kid. And he participated in all of the events. I said, what was your event? He said, I did all 6 of them. I didn't know what the 6 events were. And so I deferred to the expert on such things. So Bob Brenly, can you tell us what the 6 men's gymnastics events would be?
Parallel bars.
That's one.
Uneven parallel bars. Is that a different one?
No.
No.
We have, by the way, we have about 8 innings, so you can take your time tonight.
You know, the rings that
the rings, yeah. That's good. That's 2.
The pommel horse, what are they?
That's 3. You're halfway there. I am
floor
really
exercises, the freestyle
Wait
floor.
You're cheating. There's no way. You got 4 out of 6 already.
Maybe I used to be a gymnast too. How do you know?
Maybe. All right, you have 2 more.
Tying yourself into a pretzel. I don't know how I got 4.
You have 4 of them. You're missing 2. And I asked a couple of guys on our production team about the 6, and they got stuck on the same 2 that you haven't gotten. There's one where you run and you jump.
The vault?
The vault. That's number 5. Base hit up the middle for Reed Johnson.
I want to see him do cartwheels all the way to second base here and steal a bag. That would be impressive.
So he's on with 1 out.
What was the other one then? Now you're bugging me.
Oh, the high bar. They call that the high bar. Oh. So there's the parallel bars and the high bar. I am very impressed. So he was good at all of them, and you know what he said it helped him do? It was body control.
Sure.
And he said the one thing he did when he was a kid, he would be in the pool. He would have his dad throw tennis balls, and he would go dive for the balls. So that absolutely helped him. As Terrio rips it into right center, that'll send Reed Johnson all the way to third base. So the top 2 hitters in the Cubs order are both 2 for 2.
And they're both on pace to go 9 for 9 at this rate. 2 at bats in 2 innings, and each guy coming up with 2 base hits. Reed Johnson was on the move, looked like a hit and run. Terrio inside outs that ball to right field. No hesitation by Reed Johnson. Austin Kearns has one of the better throwing arms in this Nationals outfield, but because he was in motion, no chance to throw him out at third.
And Randy St. Clair will head back out as Chico's in some trouble again. So a great email, and Reed also added that one of his gymnastics coaches is going to be here tomorrow.
Really?
Lives in the area.
I think that's a good lesson for young ball players out there. The more sports you can play, the better rounded athlete you're going to become. I'm sure that gymnastics training years ago came in handy when he was tracking that ball down on the warning track in left center last night. Great body control. Parallel to the ground as he laid out to make that catch.
Ended up on the floor exercise.
Yes.
On the warning track, trying to get as many in as we can. And what he wants is a ring, a World Series ring. The pitch to Derek Lee, strike 1 on the swing. Went after a breaking ball and couldn't get it. Now the Menards big lumber stat. That's some big lumber. Chase Utley is slugging .800. It is up to date for Derek after the single in the first inning. Inside. Chase Utley already with 10 home runs. His teammate Pat Burrell is second in the National League with 8. So they have 18 home runs combined. The Nationals, for example, as a team have just 14. Chico really slowing things down again as he throws over to first again.
Yeah, normally this is a great situation for Derek Lee. We know he's very capable of taking that ball to the opposite field, and he's got that huge hole on the right side of the infield. But Chico's been trying to work him inside this entire at bat, with the exception of the very first pitch, which was a slow breaking ball out in front of home plate that Derek waved at. Everything else has been inside part of the plate or further in. Might get his fastball away right here.
Here it comes. 3-1. Speaking of home runs, Derek with 7. Aramis has 6. So they have 13 combined, just 1 off the entire Nationals total. Hit hard and fair, tucked it just inside the third base bag. It'll roll into the corner. Johnson scores, so will Ryan Terrio. Derek makes a turnaround second base. He's going to hold there with a double. It's 5-zip.
Boy, that one made a good sound off the bat of Derek Lee. Chico tried to go back to the slider that Derek waved at the first pitch of the sequence. This time he's all over it down into that left field corner. Willie Mopena must have stopped to autograph that baseball before he got it back in. Ryan Terrio scored easily from first base.
So now Johnson, Terrio, and Lee are all 2 for 2. With 5 runs scored.
Ball just rolled down in that left field corner and stopped right there. Willie Mopena was kind of playing back off the wall a little bit, anticipating some kind of a carom. Even the Nationals are learning their new ballpark here.
Derek takes off for third base. The throw is going to get him. So the Cubs have been nabbed 3 times already in the series. Terrio twice last night. Derek Lee here tonight.
And much like Terrio last night, Derek Lee going from a standing start at second base. You can't steal third base if you're flat-footed out there as the pitcher goes into his delivery. You have to have some movement toward third base and then just continue on with your crossover step and try to steal the base. You can't do it flat-footed.
As a team, the Cubs with 18 steals, they've now been caught 10 times. You want to be at about 75% or better to make the stolen base an effective maneuver, and the Cubs are below that. Wind took this one over, I think, and it ends up foul. Well, the wind really not doing much, but again, it might be swirling a little bit as that ball was tailing away from Austin Kearns.
And Kearns signals to his infielders he needs some help on pop-ups. It's that time of night when the lights haven't really fully taken effect here at the ballpark. A lot of times those pop-ups go in the air and it's hard to find them. It's like looking up into the roof at the Metrodome.
The 3-2 pitch. He checked his swing and took ball 4. Five to nothing, and we're only in the second.
Nobody warming up in the Nationals bullpen. That bullpen for the Nationals has been taxed pretty much recently too. They made a roster move, sent down the veteran Ray King, called up O'Connor from AAA, who could give him some innings as a starting pitcher at AAA level. He was going to be the long man here. We may see him before this ball game is over tonight.
We may also see the closer Chad Cordero, but he won't pitch in a big spot. They may just try to get him an inning. He's been bothered by a sore right shoulder, but he has remained active. Well, the Cubs last night went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Tonight they're 3 for 6. Sliced out of play. See, I'm thinking birthday cake. That's why I used the word slice. Kosuke turning 31.
I saw the cake down in the clubhouse, or the players lounge in the clubhouse. I didn't know whose birthday it was immediately, but I found out.
High deep drive, Millage with a beat on it. And he caught it on the warning track. That ball was tailing away from him as well. The Cubs add 2. They now lead 5 to nothing after an inning and a half.
Well, good morning.
Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
Code blue. Code blue. Code blue. Code blue.
Divide by the total sales, you'll see how we came up with the 10%.
Code blue.
Code blue.
The cold activated bottle from Coors Light. The mountains on the label turn blue when your beer is as cold as the Rockies.
Oh, what?
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Plan your next corporate or social function in one of Wrigley Field's private party accommodations. Wrigley Field offers a variety of private catered opportunities to host and impress your group. The Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments, has 4 convenient rental plans to fit all budgets and needs. For larger parties of 75 to 100, the Batter's Eye, located in the center field Bud Light bleachers, provides a unique view of the game. All private party accommodations provide generous food and beverage packages as well as VIP parking. Call 773-404-CUBS or visit Cubs.com.
McDonald's iced coffee comes in 3 delicious flavors: regular, vanilla, and hazelnut. Try one today.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
The Cubs take on the Brewers this Tuesday at 7:05. Be one of the first 10,000 fans to enter the ballpark, and you will receive a Lou Piniella number 41 Cubs cap. Compliments of Ballpark Franks. Well, it's all set up for the Cubs tonight to even up this series. They have their ace on the mound, and he is working with a 5-0 lead against a team that's just 14th in the National League in runs. The Nationals did score 5 times last night, but for the most part it's been a struggle. Austin Kearns coming in at just 202. Three balls and a strike. After Kearns, it'll be Johnny Estrada and then Willie Mopena. It's a pitcher's strike. 3-2.
Look at the difference in tempo between Matt Chico when he's out there on the mound for the Nationals and Carlos Zambrano for the Cubs. Carlos can't wait to get that ball back and throw the next pitch.
A bouncer to Ronnie Cedeno.
Of course, in Matt Chico's defense, when things aren't going well, you do try to slow down the opposition a little bit by taking the air out of the ball, taking a lot of time between pitches. And when things are going good, like they have been for Carlos in the early going, you just keep pumping them in there.
This is his 11th career appearance and 10th start against the Expos/Nationals, and he's 5-2 with a 3.42. He won both starts last year. He has 2 strikeouts, giving him 1,071. He is 10th on the Cubs all-time strikeout list. Has a chance to jump into 9th tonight. Bob Rush with 1,076. He's searching for his first road win. His only loss was in his only other road start. That was at Philadelphia on April 11th. Swing and a miss. Pretty nasty.
Look at the movement on that pitch.
Watch the swing. He had no idea where this ball was going to end up.
Great movement on his sinking fastball. He's shown some 4-seamers up in the zone, and whatever that was, splitter, change up, something that really went down toward the ground.
Fastball at 95. Willie Mopena has been a Cincinnati Red. He's been a Red Sox and now a National.
Four hits against Carlos in 12 at bats to go along with 7 punch outs.
Slider strike.
We're going to go back to that off-speed pitch again, that splitter changeup, or try to rush him away. High 4-seam fastball just out of the zone.
Has the sign from Soto. It's off the corner. 3-2. Not a lot of idle time for the other defenders behind Zambrano when he's working this quickly. Ball 4. He went with a slider on a 3-2.
Might have gotten a little ahead of himself in the course of that at bat to Willie Mopena. That's only the second base on balls this season for Willie Mopena.
Is that kind of the one big danger when you're working as quickly as he likes to work with nobody on base? Just not, as you said, get too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah, well, you got 2 quick outs. He wants that 3rd one badly. Got to be patient.
He does get the pitcher for the 3rd out. The Cubs lead 5-0.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get a low-mileage lease on the 2008 GMC Acadia for around $349 a month. Call for residency restrictions and details. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago.
Hey, Dad, can we go look for my car today?
You know where you want to go? I just don't have a lot of time to waste looking for a car today.
Yeah, I looked online.
Hey, where'd you find all these?
At autosandquadcities.com.
At autosandquadcities.com, you'll find hundreds of vehicles from local car dealers. See details and photos of each car. Save time and money by visiting autosandquadcities.com.
Dad, that's a yellow hatchback, and it doesn't even have a CD player.
That's a shame. We're going to go take a look at it anyways.
No more waiting.
DSL takes forever.
I need speed, lightning fast, so I can stream video.
Download music in seconds.
And game like never before.
Whatever you're into, downloading videos or simply surfing the net, if it's more speed you need, then it's time to make your move to Mediacom Online and start cruising at speeds up to 8 megabits per second. Get it now, just $19.95 a month for a whole year. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV today.
Hey, Comcast cable subscribers, Cubs games are now on Comcast Sportsnet on demand. Comcast digital cable customers go to digital $9.99. That's channel $9.99. Then look for Comcast Sportsnet and watch Cubs games on video on demand. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Mark DeRosa leading off the 3rd inning got jammed, and he pulled a ground ball to Ryan Zimmerman, who throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Matt Chico, who gave up 3 in the 1st and 2 in the 2nd.
You'd expect Giovanni Soto to take till he gets a strike in this at bat after a quick 1 pitch, 1 out to Mark DeRosa. We'll see how it goes.
But having said that, going back to Derek Lee's point earlier in the week, is Soto did take a strike. When you're going well, you're more apt to take that borderline pitch early, but if you're in a funk like Gio's been in the last couple of days, you might be a little more anxious, but that's good to see. In the overall, Soto's gotten off to a very good start, and even though he has struck out 4 times in this series, he hasn't just gone up there hacking. Now it's 2-1.
Well, when we talked about it, I think the first homestand of the season, you know, Gio's got a lot on his plate this year. A rookie catcher trying to learn a new pitching staff. He's the man. He's the guy behind the plate this year. He's got a lot of things he's dealing with, and he takes great pride in his offense as well. But sometimes one aspect of your game will suffer because he's got so much on his plate. Not saying that's the case, but it certainly would be understandable.
Also, his first child was born over the winter. Gio Lezan. So off the field, pretty busy with his new daughter.
That'll keep you busy, no doubt about it.
There's another strikeout.
Boy, Giovanni's been seeing a lot of breaking balls from the Nationals. Saw from Odalis Perez in the ball game last night, and Matt Chico following suit against Soto tonight with a lot of breaking pitches.
2 quick outs, and it's Ronnie who watched that one buzz by inside ball 1. The Cubs would like to wish a happy birthday to Atticus Finch Gurrell, celebrating birthday number 1 with mom and dad and family in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And a happy 50th wedding anniversary to Bob and Barbara Hazy of St. Charles, Illinois. They were here last night with 16 relatives and friends, all diehard Cub fans. George and Joanne Lazansky were in attendance, and they were honored at Wrigley Field back in July of 1985 after being released as hostages aboard the hijacked TWA flight 847. And George that day threw out the ceremonial first pitch, led the crowd in the Pledge of Allegiance. So it was great to have them out at the ballpark last night.
And probably on our train ride home. I think everybody that was in the ballpark was on our car last night.
It was rather full.
Woo. Couldn't take a deep breath. Yeah.
Fair ball for Cedeno. Going to kick off that little sidewall, and it deadens there. And Cedeno makes a big turn around second, and he'll have a double.
A nice patient at bat that time by Ronnie. Took a couple of pitches to start the sequence, had no intention of swinging, picks on that hanging breaking ball, puts it just inside the stripe down at third baseline, and another ball in that left field corner that hits up underneath the padding and just drops right there.
The switch hitter Zambrano batting from the right side. You knew that was coming.
Ooh. Just over the top of that slider. It looks like he's a little further away from the plate than he normally is from the right side. Maybe he's expecting that breaking ball inside. Carlos usually has a game plan.
Yeah, I noticed that too. He's normally much more on top of the plate. That was off the end of the bat as he hooked it to Guzman, and he's thrown out. Chico, for the first time, doesn't give up a run in his first 3 innings. The Cubs lead 5-0.
This kid's eating dinner for $1.99. So's this kid. And this kid, $1.99. All these kids are eating dinner for just $1.99 at Old Country Buffet, Monday through Saturday nights. There's great variety throughout the week, like flame grilled steak, classic fried chicken, golden shrimp, and more. Desserts and beverages are always included. Happy parents, great dinner, great deal. Kids eat for just $1.99 Monday through Saturday nights only at Old Country Buffet for a limited time.
At Infinity, we believe acceleration should feel less like a quick burst of speed and more like a limitless force of nature. The 306 horsepower G from Infinity. Lease an Infinity G sedan for $349 a month for 24 months.
He's been known to cure narcolepsy just by walking into a room. His organ donation card also lists his beard. He's a lover, not a fighter. But he's also a fighter, so don't get any ideas. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Tuesday, the Blue is back in the friendly confines for a division showdown as Dealey and the Cubs take on Ryan Braun and the Brewers in HD. Brought to you by Sharp Hours. Cubs Brewers in HD, Tuesday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. Be sure to ask about the April discount dates and on-field opportunities. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-Cubs. The Nationals will have the top of their order against Carlos Zambrano. A strike on Felipe Lopez, who went into spring training competing for a job on the infield. Started the season as a utility guy and then ended up playing left field. He had never played the outfield before. Played there for a little bit, went back to the infield, and eventually won the second base job. And had a huge night 2 nights ago, 6 RBIs and a grand slam against the Mets. Well, he barely got out of the way. 3-1.
Carlos had a little trouble controlling that cutter inside to the left-handed hitters. That's the same pitch that thumped Nick Johnson on the thigh back in the first inning. Much better command of that sinker. Man, that is an awesome pitch when he's got it going the way he does tonight. Throws it on both sides of the plate with tremendous downward movement.
And that's ticketed to left. So Lopez with their second hit.
That appeared to be the cutter once again, trying to get inside on Lopez. Just didn't get it in there far enough. It's pretty apparent to me in the early going that he just doesn't have great command of that pitch yet. He left that one out over the heart of the plate, perhaps over adjusting after missing way inside earlier in the sequence. And part of Giovanni Soto's job is to recognize that he doesn't have a good cutter working tonight, go to his other pitches and incorporate it as the game goes on and try to find it later. The great thing about Carlos is if he has one of his pitches that's not as effective as the others, he can still get by with his fastball and his changeup, throw an occasional slider, but that cutter is just not quite where it needs to be tonight.
Well, 9 days after the Padres played a 22-inning marathon against the Rockies, they went 13 today. Deep to center, but Reed Johnson will make the catch. Wind might have blown that one a little bit back toward the infield. Tadahito Iguchi with a game-ending home run. The Padres beat Arizona 8-7. That was off Yusmeiro Petit in the bottom of the 13th. Glendon Rush got his first win.
Oh, congratulations to the G unit.
Terrio to Cedeno. They can't turn it. It was close. Good effort. That ball was hit toward the hole, so a longer throw for Terrio, but Ronnie almost doubled up Zimmerman.
Boy, good quick turn by Cedeno at second base. And Ed Montague, the first base umpire, got it right because he got himself into position. I don't know if you noticed, but Ed Montague was way inside the infield on that play. Normally that first base umpire stays in foul territory behind the bag at first, but Eddie hustled into the middle of the infield where he could get a real good look at that play and got it right. Now take a look at where Eddie Montague is when he makes this call. He can see that throw coming to Derek Lee. He can see that runner on the bag and gets it right.
The 1-0 pitch to Nick Johnson is outside. Zambrano bouncing off the mound. That win for the Padres snapped their 5-game losing streak. They had also lost 9 of 10. And it brings them to within 7.5 of Arizona. The Padres are in last in the National League West. I know it's early, but if they hadn't won that game, they would have been 9.5 out. You can't really win anything in the month of April, but you could put yourself behind an 8-ball pretty quickly.
Well, going into play today, the Diamondbacks had a 6.5 game lead over the surprising San Francisco Giants in second place in that West. The Diamondbacks never had a lead of more than 5 games all season last year when they won the division.
The 3-1 with Zimmerman running is inside, ball 4.
And the ball 4 pitch was another cutter.
And that ties a season high with 2 walks. Now Lasting's Millage. Well, there was a lot of conversation before the ball game about the game-ending home run by Wilnie Avis. It was his first career home run. It was a pitch that was out of the strike zone. Bob Howery said it was a bad pitch. He wanted it up, but he wanted it up and in. It ended up out over the plate. And a lot of the Cubs were surprised that that ball went as far as it did.
Well, there's no doubt he got the barrel of the bat on it, but it was a late swing on a pitch that was well off the plate, up and away. Now, that's one of those ones that's hard to explain. A guy that just isn't a home run hitter. But he was last night.
He's trying to put him away. 0-2, a little bit outside. Let's check out that final swat last night.
Now look at the location of this pitch.
That popped out of the mid of Soto.
You couldn't really see from that angle, but Giovanni Soto was reaching way up and out of the strike zone away from the right-handed hitter to try to receive that pitch, and it got knocked out of the ballpark. This, you could say, Wilnie Avis is a good bad ball hitter.
He was on that one.
Here you get a look. Watch where Gio has to reach for this pitch. That's headed for that Nationals logo back there behind home plate. Boy, good lesson for young hitters. Every pitch doesn't have to be right in your wheelhouse, in your happy zone, in order to have good things happen. If you swing the bat and get the barrel on it, you never know.
The 2-2 pitch. Millage was late, but he was able to fight it off.
And with each foul ball to the right side, Reed Johnson moving another step and then another step over into the gap in right center, figuring that Millage is having a hard time getting that bat head out in front.
Another 2-2 and another foul. He's starting to straighten it out just a little bit.
There you see Reed Johnson shading over into right center field. Fukudome as well has moved over a couple steps closer to the line and right.
He freezes him. Looked like a slider. Millage didn't like the call. The Nationals have left 5 on through 3, and the Cubs are shutting them out 5-0.
Leaders do not follow. They pave the way. Never settling for second place or second rate. They glorify the grime and dirty fingernails that are part of the cars that make men roar and drive women wild. Can you smell that? That's 100+ years of wheels spinning inside their heads as they figure out the next big first.
I first saw this one when I was traveling through Prague. Geico probably thinks this is easy too. Dancing is good exercise. It works my glutes. Okay, America, I'll show you easy.
You'll be amazed where a pen can take you during the Lincoln Signature Event. Now, drive select 08 Lincoln vehicles with 0 cash due at signing. including the Lincoln MKZ with exclusive sync technology standard. Get 0 first month payment, 0 down, and 0 cash to it signing on Lincoln MKZ for $369 a month. From the fastest growing full line of luxury vehicles, Lincoln.
Monday on a special edition of Chicago Tribune Live, former Cubs manager Lee Elia joins us to set the record straight about his outburst in the early 80s. Plus, we'll have the latest on the White Sox. They take on the Orioles. All that and more Monday at 5:30.
Let's get tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who holds the Expos/Nationals record for most home runs in a single season? The franchise began back in 1969 in Montreal. I heard the question earlier and I did not get it right. Pretty interesting answer.
Home runs in a season.
Yeah, single season home run record for this franchise. It's been an excellent start for the top of the order. Johnson, Terrio, and Lee are combined 6 for 6 with 3 RBIs, a double, and 5 runs. All 5 of the Cubs' runs. Chico did not work a 1-2-3 inning in the third, but he did not allow a run for the first time. He gave up 3 in the first, 2 in the second. The Cubs will see another left-hander tomorrow. John Lannon and Ted Lilly will oppose him. In the upcoming 3-game series / homestand against Milwaukee, Jason Marquis Tuesday night against maybe Ben Sheets if he's ready. On Wednesday, Ryan Dempster will pitch for the Cubs, Jeff Suppan for Milwaukee, and then Carlos back on the mound Thursday afternoon. And right-hander Giovanni Gallardo for the Brewers.
There's the lefties that are going to hook up here in Washington tomorrow. John Lannon 1-2 on the season, respectable 3.42 ERA. Ted Lilly looking to turn his season around.
Lannon is coming off a win over John Smoltz. Smoltz picked up his 3,000th career strikeout on Tuesday, but Lannon was better, at least for one night. Full count on Johnson. The 3-2, and he strikes him out.
Well, that's been the best pitch tonight for Matt Chico. That little slider that he starts on the inside part of the plate, breaks it down and into a right-handed hitter. Not a lot of movement, but the rotation must be very tight because the Cubs hitters aren't picking it up well.
It has cooled off here over the last 20 minutes or so. It was a very warm day. Ryan Terrio crunches this ball. Did he get enough? He did not. Man, I thought that ball was going to carry a lot better than it did.
Now that one would have had the ball hawk scrambling at Wrigley right there. He crushed that ball to left field. Once again, we're not sure exactly what the wind is doing down at field level. I think the Riot thought he got enough of that one to get it into the bullpen, but Willie Mopena backs up onto the warning track and makes the catch a few feet in front of the fence.
How about the natural cycle? Derek with a single in his first at bat, a double in his second.
Well, this would be a good triples ballpark. I mean, there are areas where you can hit the ball in this park and have a chance to leg out a triple.
Let's see what he gets on a 2-0 pitch. Here it is. He gets a strike.
But it was not a fastball.
Bases loaded. Sorry, Bob. Bases loaded single for Victor Martinez. Walk-off win for the Indians. 4-3 over the Yankees. Another breaking ball. 3-1. Cleveland has now won 5 in a row. Things are starting to even out a little bit over in the American League Central. Detroit, where they win over the Angels 6-4. Here's the 3-2 with 2 outs, called strike 3 on a fastball. Derek thought it was ball 4. And the Cubs go down in order for the first time tonight, but they have a 5-0 advantage.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
It's game time. Skybox is right up here in section La-di-da. How's everybody doing? Can anybody tell me what inning we're in? All right, boys, we take it back to high life. See, the high life is about sitting in the sun and watching your favorite pitcher get lit up. Take him out. And they can't even hear me through this glass. Come on, boys. Need to smell me a hot dog or something. Just know I'm alive. Woo! Let me pass out some high life.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra, and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month, or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
Let's get the answer to our Aflac trivia question. All right, the single season home run record for the Expos/Nationals. Alfonso Soriano with 46 in his final year in 2006.
Wow. See, I'd have never guessed that either.
I was thinking Vladimir Guerrero.
I was thinking Larry Walker, maybe Andre Dawson.
I guess it was his one and only year, 2006. 46 home runs. A career high for Alfonso.
Boy,
Presidents just raced in the controversy.
Oh, yeah, big time controversy.
I hope Teddy's all right.
Well, he's smiling now, but he wasn't very happy a few moments ago. He got ambushed.
A wind and a 1-1 pitch to Kearns is inside. We want to welcome those viewers watching across Europe tonight on the North American Sports Network. The Cubs lead the Washington Nationals 5-0.
Yeah, Teddy was on his way to another win. He won the race last night, and I don't even know what that is. Some kind of a creature comes out of the stands, knocks him down, and George Washington ends up winning the race. I'd have to protest if I was Ted. That's all there is to it.
They have good security here, but not before this last half inning started. A ground ball to the shortstop, Ryan Theriot. Still a long way to go tonight, but you have to be encouraged as right-hander Joel Hanrahan is up for the Nationals. The fact that Carlos hasn't had his best stuff tonight. You've talked about the cut fastball. He has struggled with it, but he has found a way to keep the Nationals off the board.
That's because his other pitches are so good. He can scrap that pitch for tonight and just hope he's got it next time out, because his sinker's working on both sides of the plate. His velocity's good. That change-up or splitter that he's throwing is just unbelievable tonight.
He has given up at least one base runner every inning. He has walked 2, hit 1, and given up 2 hits. But the Nationals have only put 2 runners in scoring position. A fly ball that should be no problem for somebody. Reed Johnson. I asked Mark DeRosa, is that the best catch you've ever seen? He goes, well, I was there when Gary Matthews Jr. made that great catch a couple of years ago. He said, but it's certainly on that level.
Well, any short list you make of the greatest plays you've ever seen, and that's got to be on it. It may not be the best of all time, but it's right up there.
And when you talk about the greatest catch of all time, you have to put a disclaimer on it. You have to say, regardless of the situation. And if you think of a home run saving catch with 2 outs in the 9th with your team leading by a run, that would be one thing. But that was just such a great effort.
Man, we had a wonderful view of it from up here. We could see where he actually started after that ball and the jump that he got. That's what really made the play for me, was the fact that he was shaded over into right center field. He's off on a dead run. I mean, that's as fast as Reed Johnson can run. Usually outfielders are very much under control when they go after balls in the gap, but he was just running as fast as he could possibly go and just threw his body toward the fence. Just an amazing catch.
A little flinch by Jim Wolf. 2-2. The next one close, but he didn't get that one either. 96 on the fastball. Free and easy tonight.
96 with late movement. I mean, Jim Wolf has been calling that low strike all night long. I thought he might give that one to Carlos, but we'll see what happens on the 3-2 pitch.
The payoff pitch hit off the end of the bad foul. Another big crowd tonight. 35,154 last night. We might be right around that again tonight. Pena has walked both times. Boy, Carlos is very upset.
I don't think he's so upset at that last pitch. I think he's upset about a couple pitches earlier in the sequence that he thought should have been called strikes. That pitch clearly out of the zone and down. All right, take a deep breath, start over.
Rob Makoviak will hit for Chico. So a pretty short night for the National starter. Makoviak went around. The kick and a 1-1 pitch, a roller smothered by Derek Lee. He will underhand to Zambrano, covering first, and the inning is over. Nicely done by Derek. One left. Controversy here in Washington. You got a good look at him. The police are looking for that guy. 5-0.
The 48 mile per gallon rated Toyota Prius. The Toyota Camry rated at 31 miles per gallon. And the 2009 Toyota Corolla rated at 35 miles per gallon. Lease the all-new 2009 Corolla for just $189 a month or get 0% APR financing. Long live the road trip. Toyota, it's a great way to keep moving forward.
Can you spot the Ninja 250R? The all-new Ninja 250R from Kawasaki.
Hi, I'm John Brenny. Come check out all the new Kawasaki's at Brenny Cycle Works in East Moline.
In February 2009, TV stations will broadcast exclusively in digital. Every TV that's hooked up to cable will still work just fine. If you get TV through an antenna, you can still keep your sets working. Just visit dtv2009.gov to apply for government coupons for converter boxes, or call 888-DTV-2009 for information.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, Comcast Sportsnet. By Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by the Toyota Tundra. Visit whytundra.com to find out why the Toyota Tundra is a great way to keep moving forward.
Manny acted going into his bullpen a lot earlier than he had planned. In the 5th inning, Joel Hanrahan will make his 12th appearance. It was another rough night for starter Matt Chico. He only went 4 innings, giving up 5 runs. So it's a 3rd straight start in which Chico has allowed at least 5 runs. And we're not around the Nationals that much, obviously. But you consider Chico has gone 5 innings, 4 innings, 4 innings his last 3 starts and has given up all those runs. They may have to think about making a change in their rotation. It just puts way too much pressure on your bullpen.
Well, this guy on the mound right now was in the rotation last year. The Nationals were 7-4 in games he started. Big strikeout totals, 18 punch-outs in 13 1/3. However, he's also walked 10 batters. Looks like he's got a nasty breaking ball.
.97 on the fastball, 2-2. Hope everybody's all right. About 10 rows behind the Nationals dugout. That ball went flying in there. Another 2-2 pitch. That is a fair ball, tucked just inside the line. And Ramirez at second base with a double.
Seventh double of the season for Aramis, leading off the 5th inning here. Already a man in scoring position. Good way to start this inning. Just keep adding on. Not sure what the weather's going to do the remainder of the inning, but like I said earlier, you can't worry about the weather. Just do what you have to do. Quick bat that time by Ramirez on a fastball in.
At 98. That pitch was 98 miles an hour, and he was able to turn on it. That tells you a lot about pitching, doesn't it?
Yep.
You can throw the ball that hard, but there's no guarantee you're going to get a guy out or get him to swing and miss. That's a quick bat.
Well, another big swing from Kosuke. We've seen him let it out a little bit tonight. Looks like he's really trying to drive that ball. Took a big swing earlier against Chico and took a home run swing that time.
Also looked like he knew he was going to have to gear up a little faster with a hard throwing Hanrahan on the mound. You don't want to face a guy every day who throws 98, but I think hitters especially fastball hitters, they don't mind this every once in a while. They kind of get sick of the guys throwing 86, 79.
I'll tell you, a good fastball hitter, they like nothing better than to see a kid out there on the mound that likes his fastball. I don't care how hard you throw it.
Because as any good power hitter knows, you don't have to swing that hard if it's well located for you at 97. Just put a good swing on it, get the barrel of the bat on the ball, and you can hit it a long way.
I think a common problem for a lot of young players when they run into a guy who's throwing 96 or 97, they want to swing as hard as the pitcher's throwing, when really all it is getting that bat into the hitting zone quickly.
A 2-2 pitch. He struck him out. Hanrahan went with a breaking ball, and he got Kosuke for the first out. Here's the pitch to Mark DeRosa, fouled straight back.
Yeah, that was always something we like to hear in the advance meeting, when our manager or one of the coaches, whoever was conducting the advance meeting, this kid likes his fastball. Man, that guys were licking their chops. Couldn't wait to get up there and take their hacks. Because it's a little more predictable. A 2-0 count, 3-1 count. You're pretty sure you're going to get the guy's fastball. If he thinks he's got a good heater, that's where it's mano a mano. You bring your best heater, I'll take my best swing. Let's see who wins.
Hanrahan was born in Des Moines, Iowa, and he was signed by former Major League outfielder Mitch Webster. He was working for the Dodgers. Hanrahan was a second-round pick in 2000. His 0-1 is a slider that missed low and outside. Hanrahan hit a triple in his first major league plate appearance, the first pitcher making his major league debut to triple in his first career plate appearance since the Dodgers' Doug Rowell in 1972. That was last year for Hanrahan, who would pick up an extra base hit in each of his first 3 starts.
Just looking at his career stats here in the media guide, he gave up 22 home runs in 22 starts. Total of 119 innings pitched. Guess where? We were there right before the season started.
Vegas,
Las
baby.
Vegas, baby.
Oh yeah, that ballpark is not going to keep a lot of balls in that park.
That's a pitcher's nightmare.
Estrada setting up off the inside corner. The pitch, put it where he wanted it. 2-2, even though it missed. Soto on deck. It's been a good night for Gio. He has struck out twice at the plate, but his pitcher is dealing a shutout, and that's the most important thing.
That's one of the great things about the catching position. You can have a bad night at the plate, but feel when you go home at the end of the day that you helped your team win a ball game in the way that you handle your pitcher or your pitching staff.
A bouncer to short. Ramirez will hold at second as DeRosa's thrown out by Guzman.
So I could never figure out a DH. I mean, if a DH goes 0 for 5, strikes out 3 times, hits into a double play, why? You feel like jumping off the building or something, because you have no way to make up for it on the other side of the ball. You can't go out and make a great defensive play. That's a tough way to go if you're not swinging the bat well as a DH. Of course, if you're not swinging the bat well, you probably won't be a DH very long. Boy, another breaking ball. Steady diet of breaking balls. The fastballs that Gio has seen in this series, this game plus, have usually been out of the hitting zone, places he can't get to them. Another breaking ball. That's the big leagues. If they find what they perceive as a weakness, they're going to go at it until you prove that you can make an adjustment and do something with that pitch.
It's like a high fastball. Called strike 3. So Soto's 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, but he'll go back to work with his battery mate with the Cubs leading 5-0.
Monday through Friday, I call it work. On the weekends, I call it play.
More ASE top mechanics use Valvoline in their own cars.
Bank of America offers the opportunity to see Wrigley Field like you never have before. Take a 90-minute guided tour and check out the press box, locker room, dugouts, and much more. Tours are available on select dates and can be purchased by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or by visiting Cubs.com.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now get $1,500 cash back, or current GM owners get $3,000 total cash back on a 2008 Buick Lucerne. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
Time now for a GMC Sports Update.
Hi, everyone. Chris Bowden here in our downtown Chicago studios. The White Sox dropped Game 1 of their doubleheader with the Orioles 5-1. They're leading 5-2 in Game 2. That in the 5th inning. Bears select offensive tackle Chris Williams, running back Matt Forte in the NFL Draft. More draft coverage on Sports Night following Cubs Postgame Live. Now let's go back to Redskins country and Len and Bob, guys.
Chris, thank you very much. This game is what the Cubs needed, at least so far, after losing 2 straight.
Yeah, get an early lead with your ace on the mound. Let Carlos go out there and do his thing, and so far he's been doing it extremely well tonight.
He has walked 3. He has hit a batter. As you said, the cutter, really not his pitch tonight, but everything else has been working.
Everything else is working, and Carlos was on the verge of losing it there after the ball 4 to Willie Mo Pena, but he was able to regroup, get himself together, get back out there, and get his team out of the inning.
Lopez with his 2nd straight leadoff hit. Well, as we learned some of the nuances of this ballpark, we spent a good half hour before the game arguing where's north and south and east and west. We had no idea. I still don't know where we are. I know we're in Washington, D.C., but we're going to bring a compass to the ballpark tomorrow. Try to figure this out.
Well, it didn't help any when some of the locals were pointing at what they said was south, and it was where the sun was going down. I know that's not right. We'll bring a compass. That's what we need.
Yeah. There's a double play ball. Oh, what a great hop to Cedeno. You can't turn it better than that and much easier than that. Cedeno and Terrio could have done it with their eyes closed.
That ball looked like it came up a ramp right to Ronnie Cedeno. One big hop. He fields it waist high. Good feed to Terrio. Plenty of time to make the relay throw on to D. Lee. Nicely done.
I injected sanity into the conversation when I mentioned the sun. We were looking at all kinds of landmarks, and I said, well, wait a second. Shouldn't the sun be kind of toward the west?
And I tried to look at the Capitol building because the little bit of history I know, the Capitol building faces west but the Statue of Freedom on top of the Capitol building faces east, so that the sun never goes down on the face of freedom. But I can't see that far to tell which direction the statue's facing. We'll figure it out by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll get up real early before the sun comes up. That way we know which way is east.
That's a good idea. Can't tell.
Can't tell.
Even in high definition. Just a little too late. The 0-1 to Johnson. Deep drive, left center. Mark DeRosa, however, is there. And he gathers it in. A double play ball helping out Zambrano. 2 singles in the inning, but still no runs for the Nationals. It's 5-0.
On May 9th.
Hi. I'm having a 6-way right now.
How lucky
Come on, one drink. I dare you.
can one guy get?
I'm not usually this much fun.
Ashton Kutcher, Cameron Diaz.
So you're the lucky guy. I'm Richard Banger.
Your name is Dick Banger. Dick Banger? You, sir, have just provided us with jokes for the whole weekend.
What happens in Vegas? Rated PG-13.
Yo, man, I'm back with lunch.
All right. McDonald's Southern Style chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, they got a great chicken biscuit for breakfast, too. But you would have to get up before lunch to try one.
Where do you go so early in the morning?
It's called a job.
You got to set an alarm for that? Yeah.
On April 29th, buy a large Mickey D's sweet tea for just $1 and get a new Southern Style chicken biscuit or sandwich free.
You got to tell me more about these mornings, man.
Run, boy, run, boy, run, boy, run. They're gonna get you, boy, run, boy, run. They're gonna get you, boy, run, boy, run. Run, boy, run, boy, run, boy, run.
Keep going in the fuel-efficient Kia Sportage, starting under $17,000.
Tuesday, the Blue is back in the friendly confines for a division showdown as Steve Lee and the Cubs take on Ryan Braun and the Brewers in HD. Brought to you by Sharp Hours. Cubs Brewers in HD, Tuesday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Get Chicago Sports News Nightly on Land Rover Sports Night. Coming up tonight at 10, the Bears draft an offensive tackle, plus baseball highlights. This one and the Sox doubleheader. Luke and Gale will have Land Rover Sports Night tonight at 10. Only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. The top of the order has done a lot of damage tonight for the Cubs. Honorable mention goes to the number 6 hitter Mark DeRosa with a 2-run single. Derek Lee with 3 RBIs. And Zambrano's cruising along. Carlos will hit behind Cedeno here in the 6th. Hanrahan in his 2nd inning. The White Sox lost the opener this afternoon to the Orioles 5-1. And they lead in the bottom of the 5th in game 2, 5-2.
Well, that one got a good chunk of Johnny Estrada right there. Looked like it got him in the right biceps, maybe in the right shoulder. You see he has that little pad extended out there from the chest protector to protect his throwing shoulder. That one got him pretty good. Jim Wolf's going to give him a little time to get himself together back there before calling for another pitch.
The kick and the 2-2. Broken bat liner. Drops fair. Boy, they are wearing out that left field corner. That's the 4th double for the Cubs. And they've all been right down the third base line.
Came on a breaking ball. Ronnie hits it right off the end of the bat. Sounded like he broke his bat, but able to keep it fair down into that corner. Once again, Willie Mopena's run about 2 miles from his position over to that foul line, chasing those doubles in the ball game tonight. Getting his road work in.
Zimmerman is in at third. Johnson ready to charge at first, but Zambrano swings away. He gets the green light to take a big swing with his team up 5-0. Felix PA is on deck for Reed Johnson. Carlos did offer at that on a bunt attempt, 2 strikes. Looks like Reed is okay, and maybe with a 5-0 lead. Lou wanted to get him some swings against a right-hander. Not a bad idea considering all left-handed starters in this series. Good job by Zambrano. He will get that runner over to third base. On a 2-strike count, he pulled the ground ball to Nick Johnson.
You're absolutely right, Len. You don't want to let Felix PA or anybody on your bench sit too long without getting an opportunity to get up there and see some live pitching. And this string of lefties, Felix PA's been the odd man out, and Reed Johnson's been playing so well, it's hard to take him out of the lineup. But with a seemingly comfortable 5-0 lead here, you don't lose anything defensively and give Felix an opportunity to see some pitching.
Yeah, Felix really looks like he's starting to get out of that early season slump. He's been swinging the bat a lot better lately. The infield comes in. How did he get out of the way of that pitch?
It's a good thing he's got skinny calves. I don't know how he manages to hopscotch over this one. He gets out of the way.
He has protection on the front shin, but that's more for foul balls.
Got to lay off that one. That high fastball is going to be tough to catch up to for anybody. Felix working on shortening that swing, making a little more contact, trying to keep the ball on the ground or on a line.
A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you would expect the next one probably to be a little bit higher than the last one. The old up the ladder syndrome. See if Estrada comes up out of his crouch here after giving the sign to Hanrahan. He wants it down low and away, right down the middle. Have a good inning back there, Johnny.
Hey. Well, you could really hear that one on our field microphone.
We got one in the shoulder earlier.
And he has the hockey style mask.
It always sounds worse than it really is. There's so much plastic or whatever that material is on the outside of that mask. It really makes a ringing noise when it gets hit by a foul tip, but there's a lot of padding on the inside. They have modified those hockey style masks. The padding wasn't sufficient in the past.
Backdoor slider, strike 3. Punch out number 3 for Hanrahan.
After a steady diet of high 90s fastballs, Hanrahan drops a breaking ball right on the outside corner. Nothing you can do about that.
So the infielders move back a few steps to their normal positions. A good start to the year for Terrio at 341 with an on base that's over 400. Cubs started the night second in the majors in runs. Also second in the National League with a .368 on base percentage. A 1-1 pitch is away. 2-1. The Mets beat Atlanta 4-3 the final. John Mayne over Tim Hudson. Billy Wagner with his 5th save. We mentioned earlier the Cardinals beat Houston by a run. Milwaukee with a 3-2 edge over Florida in the middle of the 6th at Miller Park. Hanley Ramirez has hit his 8th home run for the Marlins. Philadelphia all over the Pirates 8-2. Also midway in the 6th as Theriot takes the walk, keeps the inning alive for Derek Lee.
Derek Lee, the first Cub player this year to get to 100 at bats. He came into play tonight with 98 at bats on the season, got 2 knocks his first 2 at bats, so that would have put him at where's it at, an even 370.
You're good with the math if a guy has 100 at bats.
Right on 100. Then he struck out his next at bat, so I have to start all over, take off my shoes again.
They're at the corners with 2 outs. The Cubs haven't scored since the 2nd, but their lead is still 5 because Zambrano has handcuffed the Nationals. Speaking of handcuffs, I wonder if they found that mascot yet. The perpetrator who tackled Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, initially I wonder how did he get in here, but I don't know. He's a cat. Looked like a cat.
Maybe it's the cat they had at RFK to take care of all the mice and other critters.
Probably got through the metal detectors easily because the cat doesn't have any pockets and wouldn't be wearing a watch or anything like that.
You wouldn't think he would have a cell phone. Theriot runs and Estrada doesn't even make a throw. Stolen base number 6 for Ryan.
And that changed the at bat here for Derek Lee now on a 3-1 count. Then normally you'd get a fastball, but with a base open, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a breaking ball. Where those runners are really determines how a pitcher is going to attack the guy at the plate. And with a base open now and Derek Lee at the plate, he decided he was not going to give in on that 3-1 count. Probably won't give in this count.
You rarely see Derek swing at a bad pitch like that, especially up in the count. 3-1. Now it's 3-2, and he went with another slider. We can ask Derek. We have that luxury, being able to go into the clubhouse after and before games. We can ask him tomorrow what he was thinking on the 3-1. Were you guessing? Did you know you were going to get a slider? Was it not in the right spot, or were you guessing fastball? Chad Cordero is going to test that shoulder tonight. One and one.
He played catch in the outfield yesterday. Declared himself ready to go once again. Manny Acta said he wasn't going to immediately throw him into the closer's role. Give him an outing or two to get his feet underneath him once again.
Ground ball to the shortstop. It's backhanded by Guzman. Close play at second, but they do force Derek Lee. The Cubs leave him loaded, but they lead 5-0 as we move to the bottom of the 6th.
If you're fed up with the pump, then meet Chevy's MVPs of MPG. Aveo, HHR, and Cobalt XFE, to name a few. Chevy, 7 models that offer an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. Get this 08 Avail starting at $10,945 plus non-Jeep owners and lessees can get an additional $1,000 purchase cash. Find your Chevy at ChevyDealer.com.
After the game, stay tuned for Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. Analysis with Dan Plesac. Highlights, press conferences, and interviews from the stadium. Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. After the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans bet.
If you need to tow it, Quad City Spring has it. Quad City Spring is the area's suspension, spring, truck accessory, and towing experts. From goosenecks and fifth wheels to every kind of hitch imaginable, including Blue Ox base plates and tow bars, strong as an ox. And Quad City Spring installs and services everything they sell. So tow it right. Get your ride to Quad City Spring. Quad City Spring, 34th Street at River Drive in Moline.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
McDonald's Sports Rise every morning only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Underway in the bottom of the 6th. Strike one on Lasting's Millage. Felix P.A. stays in and plays center field. Soft liner will find turf out in right field. Member of the grounds crew chatting with the crew chief Ed Montague. That usually means there's some weather in the area, some rain in the area. The good news is we're in the 6th inning, and with the Cubs leading 5-0, it's official. For the most part, we've been very fortunate with the weather since day one of the 2008 season. You know, along those lines, and there's been some nasty weather back home in Chicago, but the Cubs have been on the road when that weather has hit.
A constant open line of communication between Soto and whoever he has on the mound on a given night. Tonight it's Carlos Zambrano. We see him talking out there on the mound. We see him between innings over in the dugout talking about what they want to do. Gotta love that.
Millage not a threat to steal here with his team trailing by 5, and a guy who rarely gives up stolen bases. We talk so much about how good Zambrano is at stifling the running game. Opponents with just 2 steals while he has been in there this year. A rainbow to right. Fukudome's camped underneath. And he makes the catch. So Kearns is nothing for 3. Here's Estrada.
Once again, it looked like the wind was pushing that ball further into foul territory.
I'm seeing some short sleeves down near the field level. I'm wondering if it's an elevation question. It's cold up here.
It is a little chilly. They're going to have to look into pressurizing the booth.
Millage able to take the base, and he'll go for another one. PA will make the throw to third. They got him! Millage took a chance. PA with a strike. And a big out. Boy, normally that's a no-brainer. That ball goes all the way out to the center fielder. We saw Reed Johnson make a very good throw earlier.
That ball gets through everybody, and look at Felix PA right there to back it up. What a throw! All Ramirez has to do is catch the ball, and Millage is out at third base.
That's clubbed as Kosuke is on the run, and it'll be PA to take it. Estrada out on a deep fly to right center. Boy, the Cubs center fielders in this series doing it all defensively. 5-0.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning.
I think I might need some better brakes.
You need our Midas Secure Stop brake service.
Is that something new?
Brand spanking.
Really?
Yeah. Exceptional stopping power combined with the security of a 55-point brake inspection.
And the pads are lifetime guaranteed.
So next time this one.
That's why we call it Secure Stop.
Trust the Midas touch.
The road to happiness. There's a lot of temptation out there.
In my hand is a little piece of heaven, and it's practical.
Nice. God, $9 grand. This won't make you happy. It'll end up buried in your closet. Put your money in an orange savings account. It won't go out of fashion, and then you'll feel better about yourself. $9 grand.
Sorry.
High interest, no fees, no minimums. Next thing you know, there's more money than when you started. And you're right back on the road to happiness.
The new Lexus ISF. Only at your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Every morning, catch up on everything happening in Chicago sports with McDonald's Sports Fries, only on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the perfect way to start your sports day. McDonald's Sports Fries, every morning only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Monday on a special edition of Chicago Tribune Live, former Cubs manager Lee Elia joins us to set the record straight about his outburst in the early 80s. Plus, we'll have the latest on the White Sox as they take on the Orioles. All that and more Monday at 5:30.
Coming up Tuesday, Central rivals collide on Comcast Sportsnet as the Cubs host the Milwaukee Brewers in high definition. Don't miss the Cubs hosting Prince Fielder and the Brewers Tuesday night at 7. Right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. The Nationals closer is Chad Cordero, but he's trying to work his way back into the 9th inning role. He's been on the DL this year. He's made 4 appearances. Took a trip to Alabama to see Dr. Andrews to check out his sore shoulder. He's just going to rehab it and remain active, and the Nationals hope that he feels good tomorrow, no matter what happens in this ball game tonight.
Yeah, they said they found no structural damage in that right shoulder, but when Cordero said he felt some clicking in his shoulder, that's never a good sign. Boy, and this guy's been one of the best in the National League. You go back to the 05 season, 05, 06, 07. Only Trevor Hoffman had more saves in the National League than Chad Cordero.
Fukudome, DeRosa, and Soto in the 7th. Strike 1.
I think that was a fastball at 82.
Well, he has struggled with his velocity. His last time out, he was able to increase his velocity a little bit. There's another fastball with a little late movement at 83.
And Estrada just hung down one finger that time, so that is a fastball. Now, granted, Cordero and any pitcher with nobody on base might change speeds off their fastball on their own, but little more zip on that cutter that time at 84, but that's not what we're used to seeing from Chad Cordero.
No, he's usually up in the 89 to 91 range. The 1-2 pitch. A fly ball to left. Pena drifts back a little bit. Well, this is not necessarily the definitive answer, but Andy Hunter emails us from Wheaton, Illinois, and says that this ballpark is due south of the Capitol building. Andy writes the diamond is a little askew from north. He says tell Bob and Cubs fans that due north would be, by his estimation, about where Reed Johnson dived into the left center field wall. All right. Thank you, Andy. I think that's what we said, right?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Base hit for DeRosa.
And unlike Chicago and a lot of other major cities that are laid out in grids, it's very easy to tell what direction you're facing at any given moment. Washington, D.C. is laid out kind of like a wagon wheel. Streets go all different directions at diagonals, and I've gotten lost a couple times in this town on my power walk in the morning.
That was a breaking ball, not a big surprise.
Just so our founding fathers knew where they were going. It doesn't matter if we know where we're going.
Right. So that should be due north, essentially. And they just keep pounding Soto with breaking balls. 1-1.
Well, and at some point Gio is going to have to show the willingness to drive that ball to the opposite field, force them to come back inside with some fastballs that he can drive again. .77 mile-an-hour slider and a big pull swing from Giovanni Soto.
The kick and the 1-2 pitch. It's outside. I suppose Lou could go with Henry Blanco tomorrow, the day game after the night game. Although the Cubs will have Monday off before starting the series against Milwaukee.
And nobody on the Cubs roster, current roster, has any history against Lannon tomorrow, so it's not like you're going to play somebody because he's got good career numbers. Nobody's faced him.
Well, a rough night for Gio at the plate. 4 at-bats, 4 strikeouts. The last 3 at-bats, he has taken a called third. Now, what does that tell you, Bob, if anything? The strikeouts last night were all swinging. The first one tonight was swinging. The last 3, he has taken a called third.
Tells me he's thinking too much. Usually a good hitter, and Gio is a good hitter, make no doubt about that. He's just overthinking things a little bit too much right now. Just see the ball, react to what you see. Now, you do your homework in the on-deck circle before you go to the plate. You remind yourself, what did they do to me last at bat? What have they done to me in this series? And if he's been paying attention, he knows they've been throwing him a lot of breaking balls.
I have a question for you as a catcher. Is it different than other position players? Sometimes guys will go right back into the clubhouse, looking at a bat, talk to Gerald Perry, get immediate feedback, and try to figure out what's going on in the middle of a ball game. As a catcher, you have so many other things to think about other than your hitting.
Now, you don't really have the luxury or the time to go up in the clubhouse in the video room and take a look at that last at bat. He's got to strap that gear on and get ready to go back out and catch Carlos Zambrano for another inning. He'll look at it after the ball game, or maybe come early tomorrow and take a look at it, but you don't get the same kind of immediate feedback that other players do that run up to the video room and see exactly the pitches they struggled against.
Now, that was a great shot. His mentor, Henry Blanco, talking with him as he was putting his gear back on. He's probably telling him, you know what, you're fine. Clear your head. You're catching a great ball game tonight. Runner goes on the 3-2. That's a called third. And they'll get up and stretch here in Washington, D.C. with the Cubs leading the Nationals 5-0.
People think life in California is one big vacation, but it's really a lot of work.
We have board meetings. Lots of board meetings.
We're always playing catch up. We're really just a bunch of pencil pushers.
We burn the midnight oil.
Hey, it's a dirty job.
Someone's got to do it.
So if California seems like your kind of work,
when can you start?
Find yourself in California. With over 95 daily flights from Chicago Midway to cities in California, Southwest Airlines is taking low fares farther.
You are now free to move about the country.
This kid's eating for $1.99. So's this kid. All these kids are eating for just $1.99 at Old Country Buffet, Monday through Saturday nights. Great variety like steak, fried chicken, shrimp, and more. Kids eat for just $1.99 Monday through Saturday nights at Old Country Buffet.
Experience a Cubs game at historic Wrigley Field. Individual tickets are available for upcoming games. Get your tickets now by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS, visiting the Wrigley Field box office, or by logging on to Cubs.com. See you at beautiful Wrigley Field.
He's been known to cure narcolepsy just by walking into a room. His organ donation card also lists his beard. He's a lover, not a fighter. But he's also a fighter, so don't get any ideas. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Every morning, catch up on everything happening in Chicago sports with McDonald's Sports Rise. It's the perfect way to start your sports day. McDonald's Sports Rise, every morning only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
This Wednesday, the Cubs host the Brewers at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will get a Cubs W car flag. Compliments of Chevy.
Oh, I know you want one of those.
Absolutely.
Fly it out the window on the way home.
Bottom of the 7th, and Willie Mopena grounded to short, and it was booted by Ryan Theriot. That's his third error. Number 2 for the Cubs tonight.
That was too easy of a play to make an error on. Ryan just didn't see that ball all the way into the pocket of his glove. It hit right off the heel over towards the hole between third and short. No chance to get Willie Mopena.
Willie Harris will pinch hit for Cordero. He fouls it straight back. Great to see Cubs coordinator of special events and entertainment Katie Marta here with her family tonight. Jesus Colome up for the Nationals. The 0-1 pitch is outside. Ideally tonight, Lou Piniella would love to have Carlos get through 8 and then hand the ball over to Kerry Wood in the 9th. He still could do that, but he has to get a little more efficient here. His next pitch will be his 100th of the night.
It's been a pretty comfortable night out there in left center field. The guys in that Cubs bullpen just kicking back, watching Carlos do his thing. Usually this is the time of the ball game you'll see a couple of guys up moving around, starting to stretch, maybe even play a little bit of catch, but so far everybody very relaxed out there.
Popped him up. And it's Derek Lee for out number 1. Here comes Lopez, who has 2 hits in 3 trips. Even after winning 3 of 4, the Nationals still are tied for the worst record in baseball with Texas at 8-16. The Rangers with a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 5th at home against Minnesota. Based on what we have read here lately, looks like Ron Washington's job may be a bit tenuous right now, with the Rangers getting off to such a slow start. 3-0 on Lopez.
Well, it always starts every year about this time. Who's on the hot seat? Which managers are likely to lose their job first? That's something you never want to be, the first manager to get fired during the course of a season.
How about a general manager getting fired before a manager? Wayne Krivsky in Cincinnati, replaced by Walt Jocketty. There's ball 4 as Lopez will take his base. It's only the 3rd time tonight the Nationals have had 2 on. No hits in the inning. An error and a walk. Not sure what Soto said, but it brought a smile to the face of the starting pitcher.
And base on balls to Lopez will get some activity in that Cubs bullpen. You saw Lester Strode answering the phone. Some bodies starting to stir around now. Looks like Michael Wirtz to be joined by left-hander Sean Marshall.
Cubs really want to get Michael straightened out. Past Zambrano, fielded by Cedeno, and the out recorded at first base. Guzman retired. 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, and it brings up Ryan Zimmerman.
You know, Lou and Larry Rothschild would love to get Carlos through this inning. His spot is scheduled to lead off the top half of the 8th inning.
And this is his season high with the pitch count. He's at 108.
It's a pretty comfortable night for a pitcher, though. As you mentioned, the temperature has gone down since we started this ball game at about 7:10 this evening. It's considerably cooler now than it was when the game started, and starting pitchers will tell you they like that cool weather.
A 1-0 pitch to Zimmerman. Sinker strike, 1-1. He's coming back. Strike 2. Couple of big home runs for Zimmerman to start the season. Game-ending home run on opening day in the debut of this ballpark, and then in Game 3 at Philadelphia, he hit a solo home run for the only tally in the Nationals' 1-0 victory. Those are his only 2 home runs to date. He is certainly one of, if not the cornerstone of the franchise currently. 4th overall pick out of the University of Virginia in 2005. 3-2 with 2 outs. He was the first ever draft pick by the Washington Nationals. The 3-2 foul back. Previously they were the Expos. There weren't too many games up in Montreal that I did, and I'm sure that you did, or were a part of as a manager, that had a crowd like this. Maybe occasionally when you played back in the 80s, but not over the last few years of that ballpark.
So you might get this many people for a 3-game series in Montreal, maybe.
Foul tip, strikeout. Zimmerman unhappy. Zambrano elated. Pitch number 115 for him, still shutting him out through 7.
Mickey D's sweet tea is refreshing and sweet. Now at McDonald's, I can get a 32-ounce cup of Mickey D's sweet tea for just $1.
Coors Light. It's a frost-brewed beer. It's a beer brewed down as cold as 34 degrees. Aged cold, filtered cold, put into bottles, cans, and kegs. Cold. Why? We know you like cold beer. So ask for a beer with a taste as cold as the Rockies. Because refreshment isn't everything. It's the only thing. Frost-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I see skies of blue.
Some find it by mixing exercise with play. Some gain it by showing others the way, while others discover it in the beauty of nature. It's wellness. And at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, yours means the world to us. Because when it all comes together, we want to give you the inspiration to experience wellness everywhere.
What a wonderful world.
Well, good morning.
Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
Now the Sharp Aqua's detail of the game. We're going to go to the top of the order tonight. Really got it going right off the bat. Johnson, Theriot, Derek Lee. 1, 2, 3. They all scored in the first inning. Johnson and Theriot would score again in the second inning on a Derek Lee RBI double. So they have all the Cubs runs tonight. Jesus Colome taking over for the Nationals as we get into the 8th inning. And Mike Fontenot will bat for Carlos Zambrano.
Well, great job by Big Z tonight. Big hug for his catcher, Giovanni Soto. I'll tell you, with the exception of that cutter that wasn't there for him in the early part of the ball game, he had everything else working tonight. A great rhythm out there on the mound. Tremendous movement on all of his pitches. Boy, to be able to throw 7 innings of shutout baseball when one of your weapons isn't there for you on a given night speaks to how good the other pitches were tonight.
Colome against Fontenot. The 0-1 pitch, driven deep to right field. Kearns with a long run at the warning track. He has it. That ball sat up in the air forever and allowed Kearns to get over there and make the play.
Well, both the Cajuns have hit a ball hard tonight that looked like it had a chance to get out off the bat. This time Kearns able to run over there. Actually has to reach back a little bit to make the catch there. I think the wind knocked that one down like it did Ryan Theriot's earlier in the ball game.
PA pulls it foul. Just a few more fannies in the seats tonight. 35,188. 34 more people here than last night. Swing and the miss, 0-2 on PA. Colomé ready from the windup.
That one got him.
Yep. He almost got hit in his first at bat. Was able to just get out of the way, and now head athletic trainer Mark O'Neill will check on Felix.
Sounded like it got him on the shoe. There's a very distinctive sound when a baseball hits a leather shoe. Oh man. Right on the outside of that right foot. Let's try to walk it off. Not sure exactly where on the outside of that right foot it got him, but Felix limping down that first base line, trying to run it off now under the watchful eye of Mark O'Neill. I was kidding Mark the other day. It's been a real good start to the season for him. We haven't seen much of him.
Now, for the most part, just getting rehab updates on Scott Air and Alfonso Soriano, Chad Fox. By the way, speaking of injuries, unfortunately, Eric Patterson, shortly after being sent back to AAA Iowa, has gone on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. So hopefully he won't be out very long. Terrio bats and he lifts a fly ball to right center. Millage was shaded over toward that area. And with 2 gone, it's Derek Lee. An RBI single, a 2-run double, a strikeout, a walk, and he was caught stealing in the second. A kick and the pitch. Slider missed outside. Well, he's had
a season high for Carlos. If he was able to get some quick outs in those 4 at bats where he walked national hitters, he might have been sent back out there for 1 more.
The 0-2 pitch. 1-2. Well, the other thing about the curveball, you know, it breaks a little more, maybe a little bit more difficult to throw that pitch for a strike. We talk so much about the importance of a good changeup, especially for a starting pitcher. Some guys throw the splitter. I know Jim Messier threw a screwball. I don't think there's anybody else around these days who throws
dancing around that one, so Willie Mopena can pick it up.
So Aramis knocking in 2, giving him 19 RBIs. Lee and Ramirez have combined for 40 RBIs in 24 games. Now a palm ball, is that kind of like a changeup?
Yeah, it's a kind of a changeup where they really choke the ball back into the palm of their hand. They really don't use their fingers too much other than just kind of to steady the ball as they release it. I think the reason you don't see a lot of the 12-6 curveballs anymore is just a matter of if you make a mistake with that pitch, it tends to get hit really hard. Hanging, breaking balls, off speed just enough. Batter sees it well up in the strike zone. Of course, if you execute it well, it's a devastating pitch. But the margin for error is very slim with that over-the-top curveball.
I always enjoyed watching Greg Maddux throw one curveball in a 90-pitch outing. Just, it looked random, but it wasn't. Always for a reason. The 2-0. Hit foul.
Livan Hernandez and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, both occasionally will drop a 60-mile-an-hour balloon curveball up there, almost like an eephus pitch. Boy, it's been a rough night for Johnny Estrada. I think he got that one on the outside of the catching hand there. Looked like it missed leather and caught him on the meaty part of his hand. That'll heal in November. You'll be all right. People wonder why catchers don't hit for higher averages. I mean, he is taking a beating back there tonight.
And he went around the call made by Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. It's now 7-0 after the Ramirez 2-run double.
So fine, she's the best girl that I ever had. Sometimes you're gonna make me feel so bad. Hush, hush, thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush, I need the loving and I'm not to blame now.
Hi, we're Team Teskies.
Want a greener, healthier lawn? Need help with your trees, shrubs, or flowers? Come to Teskies. Hi, it's George from Teskies. Since 1922, Quad Cityans have trusted Teskies' expert advice for their lawns and gardens. So if you're putting in a new vegetable garden or re-landscaping your home, come see me and
We're Team Teskey.
We'll take care of you. Teskies, Bettendorf, and Moline. Teskies, where homes come to life.
The ultimate digital package.
That's what I want. With thousands of movies and shows on demand.
Entertainment at the push of a button.
Local channels in high def.
Definitely high def.
Gotta have high def.
Get it all. The ultimate entertainment package is yours when you make the move to Mediacom Digital Cable. Do it today and enjoy HBO and Stars in high def, plus the watch anytime you want power of on demand. Just $9.95 a month for a whole year. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV today.
Time now for a Cadillac Sports Update.
Hi, Chris Bowden again here in our downtown Chicago studios. White Sox lost the opener of their doubleheader with Baltimore 5-1. They're tied at 5 in the nightcap in the 7th inning. Bears pick offensive tackle Chris Williams and running back Matt Forte in the NFL Draft. We'll have much more draft coverage on Sports Night following Cubs postgame live. Now let's go back to the nation's capital, Len and Bob, to bring it home.
Thanks, CB. It's Michael Wirtz trying to work on his slider. Speaking of breaking pitches, hasn't been quite as good lately. Not quite as sharp as usual. His slider's just been kind of spinning over the plate, but he has worked with Larry Rothschild, and hopefully he's got things back where they need to be. He'll face Nick Johnson, Lastings Millage, and Austin Kearns.
I thought we might see Sean Marshall here to face the left-hander, but with the 7-run lead, no need to play matchups at this point in the ball game.
Well, the Cubs got quality out of their starter, but the quantity can't be downplayed. It's the third straight start for the Cubs, in which they've gotten 7 innings. Marquis, Dempster, and now Zambrano. So you like to see the Cubs are dropping on the most innings pitched list by bullpen. Like to see him drop out of the top 5. And it sounds like you're making an excuse for relief pitchers when they struggle if they're overworked, but Johnson is aboard after the leadoff walk. You just can't burn them out this early, and the manager's keenly aware of that. Now, in the case of Bob Howery, the velocity just hasn't quite been where he needs it to be. He has historically struggled early. The baffling one for me is the guy on the mound right now. Michael got off to such a great start. He was lights out in spring training, but all of a sudden he's just not getting people out.
I talked to him a little bit about it this afternoon, and really the problem has been his signature pitch, that slider. We kind of have a little fun with it. Slider specialist Michael Wirtz, but that's his bread and butter pitch. That's his go-to pitch in any count to any hitter, and he just hasn't been able to command it consistently this year. And that can be a helpless feeling for a pitcher when something that has been almost second nature. He doesn't have to think about his slider. That's a pitch that's always been there for him. And right now he just can't seem to find a good release point for it.
Johnson's not being held at first, with the Cubs leading 7-0. 2-2 the count. The last 2 pitches, fastballs from Michael. That was a slider.
Better one that time, and a good location in a 1-2 count. You don't necessarily want to throw that slider for a strike. When you're ahead of the hitter, you try to get Millage to chase a pitch out of the zone.
Ground ball, and it's handled by Terrio. It'll go 6-3 on the double play. The Cubs have turned 2 of them. They've been about as easy as it gets for a double play. Now the Danley's Garage World Cup's upcoming schedule. The road trip ends tomorrow, and then back home an off day Monday, 3 against Milwaukee, and then the Cubs will hit the road again at St. Louis and then Cincinnati. We will greet you next here on Comcast Sportsnet Tuesday night, when Jason Marquis opposes TBD. To be determined. Maybe Ben Sheets.
Speaking of to be determined, interesting note on this date in 1962. A player by the name of Harry Cheedy was traded to the Mets from the Cleveland Indians for a player to be named later, who turned out to be Harry Cheedy. Later in the season, they sent him right back.
Traded for himself.
And my favorite note on this day in history, back in 1941, Wrigley Field became the very first ballpark in baseball to have organ music to entertain the fans before the game and between innings. Roy Nelson was the Gary Pressey of his day. Cubs lost that one 4-2 to the Cards.
I was going to say, I didn't think Gary was that old. Gary's been playing the organ at Wrigley Field for about the last 20 years or so, I believe. We'll get the exact year when we see him Tuesday night. Swing and a miss. Kearns just slings his bat down. He's 0 for 4, and Michael Wirtz able to get out of the inning with no damage. The shutout intact.
Looks like someone went shopping again. I got it a couple weeks ago. You like it? I can't believe it's a Chevy.
Yeah, it's an Equinox. I love it. It's got the highest crash test ratings that you can possibly get. You can't beat Chevy's coverage, and it got great reviews on Edmunds.com.
And it matches your outfit.
The Cubs have dominated the Nationals tonight as they try to set up the rubber game tomorrow. It would be the rubber game of this trip for the Cubs, who have started at 1-2. Colomé is still in, and Mark DeRosa jumps on the first pitch. Blasting's Millage catches, 1 out. Now our Nissan drive of the game, Derek Lee with a 2-run double in the second inning. This made it 5-0.
And the first 2 innings of the ball game, Reed Johnson, Ryan Theriot, Derek Lee were a combined 6 for 6 and scored 5 runs.
The Cubs have 5 two-base hits. They've all been just fair down the left field line. Well, we're still waiting for the Cubs' first home run in this new ballpark. And here's a guy who has struck out his last 7 at-bats. Lost the handle on the bat. John Lieber may get the 9th. In fact, I would bet on it. The way Lou has worked lately, Bob, he wants to build the confidence of guys who've struggled, and with Michael Wirtz getting out of the 8th, didn't throw a ton of pitches, but was able to get out without allowing a run. He wants him to feel good. No sense in stretching him out and having something bad happen possibly in the 9th. He threw 16 pitches in his scoreless inning. Swing and a miss. Soto trying to keep his chin up. Not easy after a 5 strikeout night. But the good news is he's still catching a shutout.
Yes, he is. I'm not a hitting instructor, but usually when a guy who's been a good hitter swings and misses as often as Ronnie Cedeno scalds one back up the middle of the field. But when a good hitter swings and misses as much as Gio has lately, he's probably not seeing the ball all the way into the hitting area. The head and the front shoulder may be pulling off just a little bit. And you see him grabbing his left thumb right there. I talked about it earlier, the beating that catchers take back there behind the plate, and sometimes that affects your swing at the plate.
The weird thing about it, Bob, is he was 5 for 8 in that series at Colorado, so he was as hot as he's been all year. Here's Darrell Ward, who will bat for Wirtz. Tells you how difficult a game it is. You can be on top of the world one day and then looking for a hole to crawl in the next.
Well, Darrell Ward's just glad to finally get an at-bat. His last 2 pinch hit appearances, he was announced as a pinch hitter. Opposing manager made a pitching change, and he was taken down both times.
A fly ball to left for Willie Mo Pena. He squeezes. That's the 3rd out. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The Cubs looking to pitch their first shutout of the year. It'll be John Lieber when we come back.
Power captured by revolutionary V-Vel technology that responds instantly to your commands and unleashes power immediately. The 330 horsepower Infinity G Coupe. Intensity captured. Lease an Infinity G37 Coupe for $399 a month for 24 months.
He's been known to cure narcolepsy just by walking into a room. His organ donation card also lists his beard.
He's a lover, not a fighter. But he's also a fighter, so don't get any ideas. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
If you're fed up with the pump, then meet Chevy's MVPs of MPG. 7 models that offer an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway or better. Just announced, current owners and lessees of a 1999 or newer vehicle use an additional $1,000 bonus cash to purchase this 08 Cobalt starting at $11,885 after all offers. Hurry, bonus cash ends April 30th. See your local Chevy dealer or visit ChevyDealer.com.
Time now for the Chevy player of the game, Carlos Zambrano. He took the ball in the first inning already, had a 3-0 lead, and really only needed one tonight, at least at this point.
He did what an ace is supposed to do when you give him an early lead in the ball game. Go out there, put up zeros, throw strikes, compete. Did have 4 walks in the ball game, which was a season high for him, but his stuff was electric tonight. John Lieber brought on to close it out here.
So it's Lieber against Johnny Estrada. So far, Zambrano and Wirtz have combined on a 5-hit shutout. This would be the first shutout of the year for the Cubs staff if Lieber can get through the inning unscathed. If he is scathed, he just has to give up fewer than 7. The 1-1 base hit to right. Estrada's first hit of the series in his 7th at bat.
Middle of the plate sinker for Johnny Estrada. That's one thing he's always done well. He can swing that bat.
Pena walked his first 2 times and then reached on an error in the 7th. This is the 7th appearance for Lieber. He had decisions in 3 of his first 6 times out. He's ready for an 0-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. 1 out.
That was the 3rd at bat in his career against John Lieber for Willie Mo Pena. All 3 ending up the way that one did.
Aaron Boone used as a pinch hitter for the 2nd straight night. Aaron's dad, Bob Boone, is the assistant general manager and vice president of player development for the Nationals. And his brother Brett was signed in a minor league contract. And he did go down to the minor leagues to start the year. But the latest is that I guess he had gone home to think about a few things. So not sure if Brett Boone is going to give it another shot or not. He came out of retirement, missed the last 2 years. A 2-1 pitch, a pop up on the right side. It's Ronnie Cedeno with the easy play. 2 outs. The producer of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is Bob Albrecht. Our director is Dave Turner. Our associate producer, Tamara Anderson. Our stage manager in the booth, Tracy Roberts. Our technical director, Mike Cumbo. Jim Cornell Jr. is our executive producer. Great work by our entire crew here in Washington, D.C. Cub fans on their feet. Lieber's 1-0 pitch to Lopez, outside corner for a strike. The Cubs looking for their 16th win against just 8 losses. Also trying to maintain their lead in the Central after the Cardinals won. They're within a game. The Cubs can make it a game and a half. Swing and the miss, and the Cubs win game 2 by the final score of 7-0. They shut them out tonight.
Solidly pitched ball game tonight by everybody. The Cubs ran out there. Carlos Zambrano's stuff was electric. Michael Wirtz stumbled a little bit to the first batter he faced, but recovered to get a double play and a strikeout to get out of the 8th. And John Lieber comes in to wrap it up. Nicely done.
Good to see a smile on Giovanni Soto's face. His team winning 7-0. He was a big part of it, calling the game, and on defense he struck out 5 times at the plate, but that doesn't matter. So Zambrano picks up his 4th win against 1 loss. Matt Chico now drops to 0-5, and the Cubs will go for a winning series and road trip tomorrow afternoon. Can you believe we got through this one unscathed?
Yeah, unscathed.
Weather-wise.
Yeah.
Well, a nice night for the Chicago Cubs, and that'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Postgame Live coming up next. The final score tonight, the Cubs 7, the Nationals 0. Our next Cubs telecast will be Tuesday night here on Comcast Sportsnet at 7 o'clock as the Brewers return to Wrigley Field. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob Brenly and our entire crew, this is Len Casper. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right, they escape the rain and get a victory. That's a good night. Hi, everyone. Gail Fisher with Luke Stuckmeyer. Join us for Land Rover Sports Night after Cubs Postgame Live.
We will have a recap of the busy day in Chicago sports. The Bears go offensive line and running back with their first 2 picks in today's NFL Draft. We'll have reaction from Hallis Hall for you.
And highlights from the South Side where the White Sox play a day-night doubleheader. Those stories plus highlights from the NBA playoffs.
That's later, but Chris Bowden and Dan Plezak are up next with Cubs Postgame Live, so don't go anywhere.
Introducing the Nissan Rogue. With our intuitive all-wheel drive system that reacts to the road in 1/10 of a second. And a fuel-efficient 27 miles per gallon. It's a whole new way to make driving fun. The Nissan Rogue. Game on.
All Ideal Garage doors are on sale during the door sale at Menards. From commercial to residential, Menards has the ideal garage door that you need. They're made of premium steel with a tight weather seal. This 3-star non-insulated 8x7 model is $157. This 9x7 carriage house style is only $398. 5-star premium insulated garage doors feature an insulated core with steel inside and out and the Easy Set torsion spring system. A 9x7 is $329.
Save big money at Menards.
The Chicago Cubs strongly encourage the use of public transportation. The CTA offers a variety of options, including the Red Line, which stops right at Wrigley Field at the Edison Station. If you must drive, try the remote parking operation at DeVry University, located near the Edison and Rockwell intersection. The remote lot offers parking and an express bus for just $6. For more details, call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000 or visit Cubs.com.
I need you.
need you every single day and I want you. I want you every single way and I need you. I need you every single day and I want you. I want you every single way and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. The first ever Pontiac G8. Build your own at pontiac.com/G8. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. And by GMC. Engineered to the highest standard. Professional grade.
Swing and the miss, and the Cubs win Game 2 by the final score of 7-0. They shut them out tonight.
John Lieber finishing off this Cubs 7-0 victory over the Washington Nationals, getting back in the win column after dropping a couple in a row and putting some humility back in the Nats and their bats after they came away with the 5-3 victory last night. So the Cubs even up this series. Hello and welcome everybody to Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live, along with Dan Plesac in our downtown Chicago studios. I'm Chris Bowden. This was a pitching matchup we kind of expected to work in the Cubs' favor, and Mr. Lexus Keys to the game, it worked out exactly as you called it.
Well, every once in a while you do something right.
A bell ringer.
This was a bell ringer, and I think what I'll do, I gotta buy some Powerball tickets tonight. We're hot right now, Chris. Anyway, this was a game. We touched on it on the pregame show. You look at the pitching matchup, and it really looked one-sided in favor of the Cubs. I thought it was really important for the Cubs to get out to an early lead, take whatever hope that the Nationals had of getting back into this, hopefully build up a little bit of a cushion, let Carlos Zambrano do his thing, and he was terrific tonight.
But if he is Mr. Lexus Keys, call me Mr. Whammy, because I'll bring out the bad part of Zambrano's performance, as dominating as he turned out to be once again. Carlos, for all his control earlier in the season, 4 walks. Up until this point, actually 5 walks in his 5 starts. Tonight, 4 walks, hits a batter, but ended up not mattering against kind of a non-murderer's row of this Nationals lineup. We do award Big Z our Feldco inning, and then after Aramis Ramirez flew out and there was a walk to Fukudomi, Mark DeRosa, there you see Fukudomi walking. Mark DeRosa comes up with the bases loaded. 361 with the bases loaded for his career coming into this game. He delivers here the 2-run knock. That made it 2-0, and then, rather 3-0, and the Cubs added a couple of more in the second inning when Derek Lee managed to double in a couple of runs. And here's the way the offense looked from top to bottom, and very good balance in there, aside from Fukudomi having his rare offer, and we'll talk about Giovanni Soto a little bit later, but multiple hits coming throughout that lineup.
Well, you try not to make light of the Giovanni Soto, but there are bad nights, Chris. There are really bad nights, and you probably couldn't strike out 5 times in a game if you tried, but it goes to show you that this game, it's so much of a mental part of baseball, is feeling good at the plate, not feeling for the ball, reaching for the ball. He got a steady diet of breaking balls, and I think what you're seeing now is some advanced scouting reports that he's poor at his coverage of the strike zone. He's prone to swinging at breaking balls, and until he corrects that, he's going to see a steady diet of curveballs and sliders and curveballs. Until he makes an adjustment, he's going to see a whole boatload of them.
We're going to take Giovanni into the Dan Plesac batting cage a little bit later on in the show.
Trust me, I'm probably the only other guy that could have gone 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. 1 for 16 career. You pretty much, Chris, had to hit my bat. Okay,
well,
but I had this theory though. A swinging bat is a dangerous bat.
It's better than just watching it fly by. As we go to break, let's check out our Pontiac Opinion Bowl poll in honor of the NFL Draft Day. Who's your #1 overall pick on the Cubs this season? If you had the first selection out of all the guys in the Cubs roster, coming up big, is it Carlos Zambrano, Ryan Dempster, Derek Lee, Kosuke Fukudomi? Go to ComcastSportsNet.com, click Chicago, down to the Cubs page to cast your vote. We'll have the results later in the show. We'll be right back.
Coming up on Sports Night, the future is now for the Bears, and they did take a running back. But was it a certain former Illini star? Mother Nature forced the White Sox into a doubleheader. Would they be able to double their efforts on the South Side? And after a mini slide, Big Z looks to lead the Cubs back on the winning side of things in the nation's capital. Plus, in their first game, did the Huskies make a nice impression for their new head coach. That's all ahead on Sports Night.
Cubs Postgame Live is brought to you in part by Valvoline, 100 years under the hood.
This kid's eating dinner for $1.99. So's this kid. And this kid, $1.99. All these kids are eating dinner for just $1.99 at Old Country Buffet, Monday through Saturday nights. There's great variety throughout the week, like flame grilled steak, classic fried chicken, golden shrimp, and more. Desserts and beverages are always included. Happy parents, great dinner, great deal. Kids eat for just $1.99 Monday through Saturday nights only at Old Country Buffet for a limited time.
Welcome to Lowe's. How can I help you today?
Just a sec. Okay.
We need lots of flowers. Well, let's get started.
Welcome back spring at Lowe's with our huge selection of your area's plants and flowers, all with our 1-year plant guarantee. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra, and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month, or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
Since 1961, Blackhawk Bank has been a foundation of loyalty and experience. I'm Heidi Hughescamp, and I invite you to continue your financial journey with Blackhawk Bank & Trust Financial Services Division. When you partner with us, you will find a highly trained and knowledgeable team committed to creating and maintaining your financial security. At Blackhawk Bank & Trust, the foundation for managing your financial wishes is a reality.
You're a Mediacom online customer, right? Did you know that you can now download eTrust Internet Security Suite from Computer Associates, giving you protection from viruses, spam, and annoying pop-ups for free? Plus, Mediacom Online now includes identity theft protection and security firewalls that restrict outside access to your computer, giving you enhanced security. Just go to MediacomCable.com to download your free protection today. Secure your computer with Mediacom Security Software.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back. Time now for our 4 seasons Who's Hot and Who's Not. Miguel Tejada, no matter how old he is, still hitting the cover off the ball. Garrett Adkins, the Cubs, happy to escape the Mile High City once he's in the rearview mirror. And Tim Lincecum's just been sick his last couple of starts, shutting everyone down through 13 1/3 innings, striking out 14. As for the chill factor, Carlos Delgado not getting it right now, neither is Junior, and Tom Gorzolani, the Southwest Suburban native, been roughed up by the Cubs to start that down streak of his. And today, our sweet play of the game comes from the bottom of the 6th. Lasting Milla John first. He runs on Carlos Zambrano's pitch. Giovanni Soto tries to throw him out at second. It would get past Ronnie Cedeno, but watch Felix P.A. here. And Dan, I'll let you take it away from this point.
You know what? The debate has been is whether Felix P.A. is going to hit enough to be in the big leagues and play every day, but there is no questioning his range and his throwing arm. He has a very, very strong arm for a center fielder, and he's very accurate. One of the things that really impresses me, he makes a lot of his throws from the outfield on the low trajectory, what serves 2 purposes. It really keeps a third base coach. A third base coach, for the most part, is looking from a throw from an outfielder. And if they see the ball, you know, having a lot of flight, they're more apt to sending runners where runners can go from second to third on an overthrow. And if you throw that ball on a line, it's very hard for a third base coach to be able to read if he's going to send a runner, bring a runner from second to third base. He does a tremendous job. He's very accurate. If he can hit, he could be a very, very, very valuable part of this team.
PA came into tonight 5 for his last 10. That 5 for 10 streak ignited by that 3-run homer on Monday against the Mets. And tonight struck out in his first plate appearance, relieving Reed Johnson, and then was hit by a pitch, that in the 8th inning. Now, Giovanni Soto threw that ball into center field. He also kind of had a rough night at the plate. Actually, it's been a rough series. After going 5 for 8 in Colorado, It's been nothing but strikeouts except for the intentional walk, and he's got to be thanking his lucky stars for that last night. But this is first at bat in the, or this is last night. He goes a 1, a 2 in the 4th, and then a 3 in the 6th before finally getting that intentional walk in the 8th inning last night. And today it's not a matter of getting much better, it's getting worse. Not 0 for 3 at the plate on strikeouts, 0 for 5. Take us to your batting cage, Dan.
Well, this is the old country western song. I'm not sure who sings it, but just a swinging. And here he's
looking.
Sir, may I help you? No, I'm just looking.
Yeah, this is one of those rough nights, and Len and Bob were very kind to say that, you know, at least he can contribute from a standpoint of being behind the plate and guiding these pitchers on a shutout tonight. But
well, you could tell by a couple of those clips that we just showed that he's getting frozen on fastball. So that leads you really to believe that just mentally he's at a point right now where he's up there really with no plan, and it's really easy to fall into that rut, particularly as a young player. It takes 1 or 2 games where the wheels kind of come off and you have enough responsibility calling pitches, working with Carlos Zambrano, wherever you're catching for that day. And you add to that fact that that's what makes it tough as a young player, Chris, is there's a lot of things that go into this. He was seeing a steady diet of breaking balls, and you could tell by a couple of those clips where he was taking some fastballs down the middle of the plate, and he's normally a very aggressive, good fastball hitter, so that leads you to believe that he's going up there looking for a breaking ball, and he's not able to pull the trigger on a fastball. He'll snap out of it.
he probably can't wait to get out of the nation's capital at this point. One more game to go, one more break for us. When we come back, Dan and I look at it tomorrow's series finale next on Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. Stay with us.
And now it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold Statistics of the Day, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
It's gonna work. I don't think it will. Let's go. Dad? It's time. You'd be a really nice catch for somebody. Please?
Just for Men takes 5 easy minutes, targets only the gray hair, and can start something great.
For my girls.
Yes! I'm glad we did it.
Just for Men.
What does the Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection mean to you? Better highway fuel efficiency than a typical 8-passenger SUV, the most fuel-efficient 5-door in its class, and the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. The Buick Pontiac GMC Spring Collection. Now through April 30th, get a low-mileage lease on the 2008 Pontiac G6 for around $199 a month. Call for residency restrictions and details. The Spring Collection. See them now at your local Buick Pontiac GMC dealer.
Time for a little high life housekeeping. You can't park here. Keep an eye on her. So this is how the other half of 1% lives. Hello, common sense check. $5 for chips. $13.50 for a bag of nuts. This hotel just lost its key to the high life. We got a lot of high life to collect. High life housekeeping. And they say money can't buy you love. Common sense, this is your wake-up call. Get your butt up. For $13, I'll be a macadamia nut.
The road to happiness is not paved with bank fees. It's not. That's why the Orange Savings Account from ING Direct doesn't have any. No fees, no minimums, lots of interest. That's freedom, baby. Save your money.
Oh, this throbbing sinus pressure. Whenever I get a cold or allergies, I need relief. I feel so congested, stuffed up. I just might blow.
The medicine in Sudafed PE relieves nasal congestion in minutes. Sudafed PE. Get your head back where it belongs.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by American Chartered Bank. American Chartered, the bank for your business. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, we asked you our Pontiac opinion poll, and we asked you in honor of the NFL draft, who's your number 1 overall pick on the Cubs this season? Here's the way you voted. Drum roll, please. D. Lee is the man, and he had himself a hot night tonight after going 1 for 8 during this 2-game slide. Came up with 3 runs batted in. And it's the other hero from tonight, Carlos Zambrano, followed by Postgame and Ryan Dempster. We just can't seem to get any love from Cubs fans sometimes.
He's pitching well, too.
He is. Let's check out the pitching matchup for tomorrow's series finale, the rubber game. It'll be a battle of left-handers. Another southpaw going for the Nats, that being John Lennon, who actually has better numbers than Ted Lilly, although Lilly has, at least in his last couple starts, begun to take steps in the right direction, got in the win column last time.
I think this is a really important start for Ted. His last one was much better. He's still not at the form he was in 2007. You could really make a case that he was the Cubs' best and most consistent starter last season. He pitched very well at the beginning of the season and was particularly strong towards the end of the season. This year, his velocity has been down. His command of his breaking pitch hasn't been as good as it was last year. You'd like to see him string a couple of good starts together, because you follow that up with Carlos Zambrano, then Ted Lilly and Ryan Dempster, and you kind of get the little snowball rolling here. This has the makings of being a very good starting rotation, but they need to start getting some innings out of Lilly and Rich Hill.
We've been talking about how his velocity has been down, and this is just, it would probably be the last thing that the common fan would think of early in the season for a pitcher's velocity to be down. Same thing going on with Bob Howery. Is that just, it just pops up at any point and pretty soon you manage your way through it, unless there's something wrong?
It's a really good question, and I think the older you get, when you start, you've had 6 or 7 years in the big leagues, it takes your body a little bit longer to get into the mid-season form. Spring training is tough. You're going through some aches and pains. You go through what pitchers call a dead arm period, and sometimes it takes a guy. And Bobby Howery last year, really, Bobby Howery didn't get it going till the beginning of June, where he was pitching at 93, 94 miles an hour consistently. I think you'll see Ted Lilly get better. He started to show some very good signs in his last start, but he needs to be better.
All right, 7-0 the final here after the Cubs broke out on top 5-0 through 2 innings. Really the most exciting part of the ball game, in our opinion here, was the President's Race that they have now at Nationals Ballpark. And let's take a look and break down exactly what happened. Look at Teddy Roosevelt going, actually it wasn't a second straight, but out of nowhere comes the cat to take him down. So right now it's anybody's race, and there's George with the late push beating Thomas Jefferson. What's with the cat? There must be something against Teddy Roosevelt in Washington,
D.C. Well, I think Teddy tried to play some late-night hardball there. He tried to get a little bit of a head start before the rest of the big staff there, and he paid the price for it. He got clotheslined.
Yeah, and actually he crossed the finish line first last night, but actually disqualified for cutting corners around that right field line, and you never want to do that.
Yes.
So
not in that race.
Trouble. So congratulations to George Washington for that victory. Congratulations to the Cubs, Carlos Zambrano, the entire gang, as they break their 2-game losing streak. 7-0 the final tonight. They'll look to take the series and then head home to take on the Milwaukee Brewers at Wrigley Field this week. For Dan Plesac, I'm Chris Bowden. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for Luke Stuckmeyer and Gail Fisher Sports Night coming up next on Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Welcome to Lowe's. How can I help you today?
Just a sec. Okay.
We need lots of flowers. Well, let's get started.
Welcome back spring at Lowe's with our huge selection of your area's plants and flowers, all with our 1-year plant guarantee. Lowe's, let's build something together.
This kid's eating for $1.99. So's this kid. All these kids are eating for just $1.99 at Old Country Buffet, Monday through Saturday nights. Great variety like steak, fried chicken, shrimp, and more. Kids eat for just $1.99 Monday through Saturday nights at Old Country Buffet.
The Reebok Hex Ride running shoe. Extreme comfort and cushioning. Perfect for the off-season.
There is no off-season. I'm with you, Matt. Running keeps me strong.
Got that, Tori. It builds my speed.
Like you need more speed, Chad. It will to break my records.
Hey, guys. We all have our reasons.
For sure, Stace.
To be a better dancer.
Like me.
It's your move, Matt.
Matt, you might want to stick to passing.
Yeah.
The Reebok Hex Ride. Available at Dick.
How to get great movies on TV. Sit down. Aim remote. Press. Now watch hit movies anytime you want with Movies on Demand. Pause, rewind, even fast forward.
Get out of here, you creep!
And never leave your seat. Just use your remote to choose from hundreds of titles with 24 hours to enjoy them. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Movies on demand. Don't just do something, sit there.
Hi, I'm AJ Brzezinski. The most White Sox games play right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Coming up on Sports Night.
We feel real good about our selection.
The future is now for the Bears, and they did take a running back. But was it a certain former Illini star?
We get off the bus, running the football.
My goal every time is just go out and throw quality start and gives us a chance to win.
Mother Nature forced the White Sox into a doubleheader. Would they be able to double their efforts on the south side? And after a mini slide, Big Z looks to lead the Cubs back on the winning side of things in the nation's capital.
It was a thin spring, but we took what we had, and those kids worked hard.
Plus, in their first game, did the Huskies make a nice impression for their new head coach? Look out for those Cougars on Sports Night now.
This is Sports Night, presented by Land Rover. Live from the Comcast Sportsnet studios in downtown Chicago.
Cougars are everywhere these days. Hello and welcome to Land Rover Sports Night. Luke Stuckmeyer and Gail Fisher with you. Big Z deals in D.C. while the White Sox try to avoid double trouble on the south side. Highlights and post-game reaction coming your way.
But we start with the NFL draft where the Bears got offensive. But not in the way some Bears fans would have liked. They did not take former Illini star running back Rashard Mendenhall. They did not trade away the pick despite multiple offers. No, they kept the 14th pick and went after a more pressing need on the offensive line. Bears GM Jerry Angelo said his #1 priority for this year's draft was a left tackle. He got what he wanted.
With the 14th pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Chris Williams, offensive tackle, Vanderbilt.
Yes, the Bears selecting Chris Williams out of Vanderbilt. The left tackle had a great combine and Senior Bowl, which were high selling points for him. He's known more as a finesse player who's better at protecting the pass than the run, but his youth and athletic ability is sure to bolster a Bears' aging offensive line and could allow John Tate to move back to right tackle. Now in the second round, the Bears did take a running back, Matt Ford out of Tulane. Ford was second in the nation in rushing in 2007. He ironically had 2,007 yards and 22 touchdowns. He has had some knee injuries in the past, but the Bears are confident he is healthy now. For more on all of the draft day news out of Hallis Hall, here's William Jackson.
With the 14th overall selection in the 2008 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Chris Williams, offensive tackle, Vanderbilt.
And with that, the Bears ended all speculation on who they would take with the 14th overall pick. They felt offensive tackle was their #1 priority and took care of that by selecting Williams.
Our #1 need was left tackle. In the offseason, after we discussed our team at length, and we wanted to get a tackle, and obviously if we had our choice, it would be a left tackle. So we feel real good about our selection of Chris.
And that was a need that we had going into the draft. And I'll just say that, you know, I didn't go out to a lot of places, but I went out to Vanderbilt hoping that he could fill that spot for us someday.
It's great to be a Bear, play for a team with so much tradition. You know, I mean, I'm speechless right now. I'm so excited to be able to come there and be a part of that tradition y'all have there in Chicago.
Despite all of Williams' positives, every player has red flag issues. For Williams, there was a neck issue that checked out fine. And secondly, some have the perception he's soft. This stems from an altercation at the Senior Bowl where he was involved in an altercation and didn't fight back. But Williams says it wasn't about having a lack of heart. Instead, it was about being smart.
At Vanderbilt, we don't fight on the field at practice or in the games just because, you know, that's going to cost you the next game. And, you know, that's just discipline as a player that, you know, obviously I would like to take his head off, but at the same time, you know, you have to show discipline as a player and be smarter than that and not take a 15-yard penalty and miss a game.
That's looking under rocks for things that, yeah, that's not going to be his problem. You know, I was in Tampa with Paul Gruber for a long time.
you could hit Paul as many times as you want. Paul was never going to come at you.
Usually when you take a player like Williams at number 14 overall in the first round, you'd figure there's a pretty good chance he can step in and start immediately if he lives up to all the expectations. However, Lovey says not so fast.
I definitely think Chris will play a lot of years at a high level at the position. As far as when he moves up, all rookies start from the same place. That's down at the bottom. And we'll just let him tell us when he needs to move from there.
In the second round, the Bears addressed another need at running back, picking 6'2", 217-pound Matt Forte out of Tulane. In his senior year, he ran for over 2,000 yards, and the Bears expect him to vie for playing time as well as push Cedric Benson.
He has excellent speed. He has good size. He can make you miss. All the things you look for in a good running back, he has.
And Forte isn't naive. He realizes if he plays well at camp, he has a chance to see a lot of action once September rolls around.
It's a great opportunity to come in and make a mark for myself. I know their running back situation, and I have a chance to come in and compete. And it's not going to be given to me. I'm going to have to work hard and come in and compete. And it's a great chance for me to show I can play in this league and just to do good and become a great running back in the NFL.
Rounds 3 through 7 take place on Sunday. At Hallis Hall with the Bears, William Jackson, Comcast Sportsnet.
Thanks, William. This is Jerry Angelo's 6th NFL draft with the Bears, and here are his previous first-round picks. Mark Colombo struggled with injuries during his Bears tenure. He is currently a starter with the Cowboys. Michael Haynes did not play in the NFL last season, and we all know about Rex Grossman. Tommy Harris is a Pro Bowler, and this will be a pressure-filled year for Cedric Benson. Meanwhile, there was no suspense at the very top of the draft. The Dolphins selected Michigan offensive lineman Jake Long with the first overall pick in the draft. Long signed a 5-year deal earlier in the week, worth more than $57 million. The Rams also went long with their first pick, selecting Virginia defensive end Chris Long. Chris Long is the son of NFL Hall of Famer Howie Long. Matt Ryan was the first quarterback taken, being selected 3rd by Atlanta, while Darren McFadden went 4th to Oakland.
With the 23rd pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Rashard Mendenhall.
Rashard Mendenhall had to wait over 2.5 hours to hear his name being called, heading to Pittsburgh with the 23rd overall pick. Mendenhall held a draft party tonight at the House of Blues downtown. And as Chuck Garfien reports, the former Illini star couldn't be happier about heading to the Steel City.
If there was one big surprise in the NFL draft, you're looking at it.
I'll tell you the truth, before today, I haven't really talked to the Steelers too much, you know what I mean? There's a lot of other teams, and even today, man, I couldn't really get a chance to talk to them, couldn't hear them, a lot of stuff going on. So after this all said and done, we get a chance to sit down and talk.
And Mendenhall's fall was certainly the talk of the first round. Thought by many to go in the middle teens, the former Illini star was finally chosen 23rd and could turn out to be a Steelers steal.
They had a lot of great running backs. That's part of the reason they probably picked me, keep it going.
Yes, Rashard goes into the NFL not exactly lacking confidence. He was the 4th running back chosen, but thinks he's the best running back in the draft. So what was it like, waiting and waiting for his name to be called?
Just crazy, to see. And as each team goes by, every 10 minutes you can end up in this city and playing for this team and just completely different feel. It's kind of unsettling, until you know where you're going to be and what's happening.
Before the draft, the big debate here in Chicago was, would the Bears take Mendenhall, a Skokie native who grew up a Chicago Bears fan. But as good as he would have looked in a Bears uniform, Jerry Angelo says their number one priority was offensive line.
We talked about Rashard quite a bit, and we liked him very, very much, but we felt that the line, was our biggest need, meaning our tackle position, and we needed to address that.
They had needs at the offensive line, and talking to Coach Turner, the offensive coordinator, it was up in the air just like any other team.
Was there a small part of you, or was it a large part of you that wanted him here in Chicago?
I plead the fifth.
So that's yes.
I plead the fifth.
Well, there's no doubt that Mendenhall's life is about to change forever. In Chicago, Chuck Garfien, Comcast Sportsnet.
Thanks, Chuck. Coming up later in the show, our Bears analyst Dan Jiggetts will break down the Bears draft day and look ahead to tomorrow's rounds.
Deep fly left center. Reed Johnson got a good jump on this. Dives. Did he catch it?
Oh, my.
He did. What a catch by Reed Johnson. That's one of the best catches I've ever seen. Ryan Dempster can't believe it.
Reed Johnson has a nice raspberry on his arm to prove it wasn't just a dream. Cubs outfield coach Mike Quade called it the best catch he's ever seen in person, and that's saying something because Quade has been involved in pro baseball for nearly 30 years. No surprise, Johnson was back in center field tonight, this time contributing with his bat. Johnson led off with a single in this game as the Cubs looking to even things up with the Nationals in the first. 2 on for Derek Lee. Sends a single in the left, and here comes Reed Johnson. Cubs take the lead 1-0. Later in the inning, Mark DeRosa at the dish. Bases loaded, and he delivers. Sending a single past Ryan Zimmerman into left. Lee and Aramis Ramirez score. It's 3-0 Cubs. Top of the second. Lee with runners at the corners, and he doubles down the left field line. Into the corner. Johnson's on again, and he's coming home again. So's Ryan Theriot. Cubs on top 5-0. And that's it for the starter after 4 innings. 5 earned runs. Carlos Zambrano, meanwhile, brought his best stuff to Washington. Bottom of the second, gets Johnny Estrada swinging. Then in the third, Lasting's Millage with 2 on, but Zambrano freezes him to end the inning. Cubs trying to add more runs. Top of the sixth, bases loaded for Ramirez. Grounds to Christian Guzman to end the threat. Cubs can't capitalize this time. Bottom of the inning, Zambrano's pitch to Estrada. Low, bounces away from Giovanni Soto. Millage takes second as Soto's throw ends up in center, but watch Felix P.A. The laser to third to Ramirez to get the out. Nice play by Felix P.A. Big Z was just dealing tonight. Bottom of the seventh, Zambrano gets Zimmerman with the foul tip strikeout. He had 5 strikeouts, season high, 4 walks in 7 strong innings. To the 8th, 2 on for Ramirez. Aram doubles down the left field line. That gets PA and Lee home. Cubs get their first shutout of the season. 7-0 is the final. Carlos Zambrano improves to 4-1 on the season. 13 hits for the Cubs. 6 batters in the lineup had 2 or more hits, including Reed Johnson. He had 2 hits and scored 2 runs in that leadoff spot. By the way, on the flip side, Cubs catcher Giovanni Soto struck out 5 times tonight. He has whiffed 8 times in the last 2 games, but the Cubs find a way to even the series tonight.
Well, the Cubs avoiding the rain in Washington, but rain did sideline the Sox and Orioles last night on the south side. The rain out forced a day-night doubleheader today and postponed Mark Burley's start because he warmed up and had an inning of work last night. So the Sox playing 2. We start with the makeup game this afternoon. Sox and O's John Danks looking for a win in his 3rd straight start. Top of the first, looking good. He strikes out Melvin Morris swinging there. To the second, facing Jay Payton. Tapper back to the mound. Danks makes the play for the easy out. 6 up and 6 down to start the game. Meanwhile, fellow lefty Brian Burr is looking strong as well. Bottom of the 3rd, strikes out Nick Swisher to end the inning. Scoreless after 3. To the 5th, Danks on fire, strikes out Aubrey Huff. Danks perfect through 5 innings. Top of the 6th, Adam Jones leading off, and he lines this ball to center. It will bounce for a hit. Danks' perfect bid is over. Next batter, Kiraz takes Danks to deep left. That ball is gone. A 2-run home run, first of his career, makes it 2-0 Baltimore. Danks went 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs and 4 hits. Bottom of the 7th, Burr is still cruising, gets Carlos Quinton to ground out to 3rd, and a 9-pitch inning. Orioles still in control. Top of the 9th, Adam Jones batting ground ball to 1st. Paul Konerko, he can't handle it. So that's an error on PK. Torres comes around from 2nd to score. Orioles up 3. Later in the 9th, 2 on for Brian Roberts. Hard hit ball to center. Alexi Ramirez on his horse. He can't get there. It's a 2-run double. Orioles now lead 5-0. Bottom of the 9th, Sox not giving up. Bases loaded for Quinton. And he gets hit So Orlando Cabrera comes in to score, and that pulls the Sox to within 4. Next batter, Joe Creedy. Representing the tying run, it's a lazy fly ball to right, though. Nick Markakis makes the catch for the final out of the game. The Orioles take game 1, 5-1 the final. So a pitcher's duel in that game 1. Danks takes that no-hitter and perfect game into the 6th, but ends up with the tough luck loss. Danks was good, but ultimately Burris was better. He threw 8 scoreless innings and gave up just 3 hits. Danks drops to 2-2 on the season.
Game 2 between the O's and Sox. Mark Burley on the hill after throwing a half inning yesterday. Top of the 2nd, 2 on. Ramon Hernandez takes Burley the other way, and this one's going to the wall. Luke Scott and Adam, don't call me Pac-Man Jones, coming in to score. Orioles with a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 2nd, Brian Anderson at the plate against former Cub Steve Traxel. And Anderson crushes this one to deep left. It's off the wall. A.J. Przinsky scores to make it 2-1. The Sox would tie the game on a ground out. Bottom 3, Carlos Quentin gets a hold of this one. This one's going to the wall. Orioles then mishandle the relay. Paul Konerko heads up. He's coming in to score on the air. And the White Sox have a 3-2 lead. In the 4th, Nick Swisher at the plate. Man aboard, and he takes Traxel deep to right. Swisher sweet with a 2-run homer, his 3rd of the season. Sox take a 5-2 lead. In the 6th, Kevin Millar against Burley. Gets that one up, and that's a solo homer. That makes it 5-3. Burley allowed just 3 runs, 3 hits over 6 innings. Could the bullpen hold the lead? Top of the 7th, Boone Logan in relief. Brian Roberts, towering shot to left center. Brian Anderson can't make the diving play. Turns into an RBI triple for Roberts. That makes it a 5-4 game. Next batter, Melvin Mora. He cranks one to left. Roberts comes in to score. It's a double for Mora. We're tied at 5 on the south side. That's the score in the bottom of the 9th. Still tied. Brian Anderson comes up with the bases loaded. And that's a base knock through the left side. Alexei Ramirez comes in to score. Anderson comes through, and the Sox win 6-5. So the White Sox split their day-night doubleheader against the O's. Burley again, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, but it's Brian Anderson with the game-winning RBI single in the bottom of the 9th. Bobby Jenks picks up the win. He is now 2-0 on the season. Sox continue their 4-game series with the Orioles tomorrow right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Jose Contreras will fire the first pitch at 1:05. White Sox pregame live will get you set for the game at 12:30.
Well, there's much more to come on the show. We'll have highlights from the NBA playoffs, including the Celtics trying to take a commanding 3-0 lead over Atlanta. Plus, the Jerry Kill era is underway at NIU. We'll have highlights from their spring scrimmage. And later, Bears analyst Dan Jiggets tells us how Chris Williams will make an impact on the Bears offense immediately. Stay with us.
NFL draft coverage on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you locally by Danley's Garage World.
Land Rover Sports Night is brought to you by your local Land Rover dealers. The adventure begins at your Illinois Land Rover retailer today.
Range Rover Sport. Visit your local Land Rover Center.
Tomorrow, relax with White Sox baseball as Paul Konerko and the White Sox take on the Orioles in HD. Coverage starts with Philco White Sox pregame live. White Sox Orioles in HD tomorrow at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
It's game time. Skybox is right up here in section La-di-da. How's everybody doing? Can anybody tell me what inning we're in? All right, boys, we take it back to high life. See, the high life is about sitting in the sun and watching your favorite pitcher get lit up. Take him out. can't even hear me through this glass. Come on, boys. Need to smell me a hot dog or something. Just know I'm alive. Woo! Let me pass out some highlights. That's what I'm talking about.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
NBA playoffs, Game 4, Magic and Raptors. Toronto trying to tie it up at 2. Fourth quarter, tied at 85. Jameer Nelson, three-pointer. Magic in the lead. Later, Raptors down 5. Chris Bosh takes the pass in the lane, and he lays it in and one. Three-point play. He had 39 points and 15 rebounds. Magic answer back with Hedo Turkoglu, the step-back three. Good. Clutch shot. Orlando's up 5. Next possession for Orlando. Rashard Lewis all alone in the corner. He lines up the three. It's good. Magic lead by 8. Orlando wins 106-94. They take a 3-1 lead in the series.
To the Western Conference, Lakers have a huge 2-0 lead on the Nuggets. This one was all LA in the third. Lakers up by 9. Kobe Bryant pulls up for Jay, and he hits it. LA now on top, 61-50. Later in the quarter, Luke Walton gets it ahead to Kobe, and he finishes that breakaway. Lakers extend the lead to 17. Then Kobe with a nice spin move in the lane, kicks it out to Derek Fisher. He drains the three. Fisher finished with 14 points. Now in the fourth quarter, Kobe hits a three of his own right there. He led the team with 22 points. Lakers are 1 away from a sweep as they win 108-84.
After 12 seasons, Northern Illinois is honoring former football coach Joe Novak in DeKalb this weekend. Former Huskies and current NFL players Garrett Wolf, Ryan Diem, and Sam Hurd were there for the festivities. But the main event was the spring game featuring Jerry Kill, the man who hopes to fill Novak's shoes as the new Huskies head coach. Red versus black scrimmage. 35-mile-an-hour winds made it feel more like November for head coach Jerry Kill. Early on, DeMarcus Grady, the QB keeper, goes around the right end for a big gain. Grady would score twice on the afternoon. Later, it's Grady testing out the arm, throws to the flat, picked off by Josh Allen. Allen marked out of bounds. Quarterback's not supposed to be hit in the old spring game, but defensive tackle Alex Crutch, he doesn't care. Coach Kill excited for the season, and his biggest concern is getting this team healthy.
It's tough, you know. We actually had 18 major surgeries here a year ago, and none of those kids are back yet. And then we got 4 or 5 others that were not able to go through spring. So I think the count's about 25. So you know, it was a thin spring, but we took what we had, and those kids worked hard and gave us everything that we asked them to do. And if we did anything, I think we built some depth.
I feel that we did a lot of things that we've been working on all spring, getting the new coaches in. It's a lot of different techniques and different calls and stuff that we had to get down. We're still not there yet, but I think we made strides towards that. And once we get everybody back, I think we'll be ready for next year.
Meanwhile, Northwestern spring game head coach Pat Fitzgerald taking the field with his team. Senior C.J. Bechet going to the arm and finding a receiver. Bechet threw for 19 touchdowns last season. Later, senior Tyrell Sutton draw up the middle. Nice run. Sutton is the Big Ten's active leading rusher with nearly 3,000 yards. Fitzgerald and the Wildcats open the season August 30th in Evanston against Syracuse.
Well, still to come on the show, we'll recap our top stories. The White Sox with a doubleheader on the south side. Plus, the Cubs look to win 10,001 with vintage Carlos Zambrano pitching in the nation's capital. And our Dan Jiggets tells us if the comparisons of Bears' second-round pick Matt Forte to Cedric Benson's running style are warranted. Stay with us.
But now it's time for your Land Rover Big Question. Bears' first-round pick Chris Williams tonight went to the same high school as what former Rookie of the Year? He's a running back. We'll have the answer later in the show.
Monday night, don't miss a Comcast Sportsnet exclusive as Bears postgame analyst Jerry Azuma goes one-on-one with Chicago Bears superstar Devin Hester.
Do you think your more involvement with the offense is going to take away from special teams?
From his contract negotiations to goals for the upcoming season, Hester tackles it all. Don't miss 23 on 23, Monday night at 10 on Land Rover Sports Night, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Every car maker's focusing on fuel efficiency, but they've forgotten about the power. At Nissan, we do more with a drop of fuel than any other manufacturer. The dependable Altima, versatile Sentra, and reliable Versa. 3 performance sedans with 31 miles per gallon or higher. Lease the Nissan Altima for $199 a month, or get $1,500 Nissan cash back on Sentra. Nissan sedans. Lean, mean, driving machines.
Hey, Laura, get a load of this.
What is that?
It's my new boat and the fabulous protection plan I bought for it.
There's an easier way to protect your boat. Call Geico. They help insure all types of vehicles.
Geico Power Sports. Insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
Be part of the Quad City Steamwheelers all season long in 2008. Hard hits, touchdown catches, exciting action, and a great family atmosphere. All games start at 7 p.m. and tickets are as low as $10 for adults, $5 for children. Kids can join the free Mini Wheelers Kids Club and enjoy hot dogs, popcorn, and soda, all for just $1, courtesy of Doctors Matt and Chris Cannon and Anchor Lumber. The Steamwheelers face the Louisville Fire at 7 p.m. It's Olympic Steel Night, and the first 2,000 fans receive a 2008 Steamwheelers team poster, courtesy of Olympic Steel.
Better phone service.
That's what I need.
Unlimited. Local and long distance.
One low monthly rate.
To anywhere in the U.S. and Canada.
Plus caller ID and voicemail at no extra charge.
That's what I'm talking about. Then start talking with Mediacom Phone. Make your move today to enjoy unlimited calling anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Caller ID, voicemail, and 10 other features. Just $29.95 a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV today.
Hi, we're Team Teskey's.
Want a greener, healthier lawn? Need help with your trees, shrubs, or flowers? Come to Teskey's. Hi, it's George from Teskey's. Since 1922, Quad Cityans have trusted Teskey's expert advice for their lawns and gardens. So if you're putting in a new vegetable garden or re-landscaping your home, come see me and...
We're Team Teskey.
We'll take care of you. Teskey's, Bettendorf, and Moline. Teskey's, where homes come to life.
Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Land Rover Sports Night. Halfway home on the show, the Bears add 2 pieces to their offensive puzzle today. More on that in just a bit.
Rain threatened the Washington, D.C. area, but the Cubs and Nats were able to play ball. Chicago trying to get back on the winning track. And the Cubs in the first inning, getting it done. 2 on for Derek Lee. He sends a single into left. Johnson scores. And Reed Johnson puts the Cubs on the board 1-0. Later in the inning, Mark DeRosa at the dish. Bases loaded, and he delivers. Sending a single past Ryan Zimmerman. Lee and Aramis Ramirez score. Cubs ahead 3-0. Top of the second, Lee up with runners on the corners. That would be Carlos Zambrano bringing his best stuff to Washington. Gets Johnny Estrada, Lastings Millage. Cubs try to add more runs. And they do go on to win this one 7-0.
Meanwhile, the White Sox playing 2 against the Orioles on the south side today. Game 1 starter John Danks had a perfect game through 5 innings, but in the 6th, Adam Jones leading off. Bounces in for a hit, perfect bid, no-hitter, over. Next batter, Guillermo Quiros. He takes Danks deep to left and out for the 2-run homer. There goes the shutout. His first career homer makes it 2-0 Orioles. Danks went 6 1/3, gave up just those 2 runs. Bottom of the 7th, fell lefty Brian Burris cruising. Carlos Quinton ground to third here. 9-pitch inning, Orioles in control. To the 9th, 2 on for Brian Roberts. Hard